Spring NECC is here. Welcome back for some Rainbow Six action at the best collegiate network in the world. My name LIama77, joined by the handsome as ever Goose. Goose, how you doing tonight? Are you ready to get back some Rainbow Six?
I'm ready for a brand new semester, brand new season of collegiate Rainbow Six Siege. There's a lot new going into this season, even a new map in addition. Maybe we'll get the opportunity to play it, even though not a lot of teams do like Fortress. But again, still, it is new, it's fresh, it's a brand new season.
Yeah, Fortress, a little bit of a spoiler. Not going to be played for this series, but it is back and it is available for these teams. And speaking of our two teams, it's Houston Red versus the JV version of Kansas State. Now, today is a best of 3 overall, just as everything else. Nationals qualifications has carried over, but now those qualifications for playoffs start again. A brand new slate for all these teams at a 0-0 record.
Yeah, and I think that's really good. You get a little break, even if you're in some parts of the country, you get a break from school because of all the snow. But not only are we getting back into school, we're getting back into Siege, and I think this is an ability to, maybe get new additions to your roster, try some new things out, maybe switch around roles. I really do like the month to 2 month break between everything because it just gives teams an opportunity to just switch things up, give themselves a new fresh breath of air.
Yeah, I mean, you get to reset the record back, but you also, like you said, you get a chance to kind of take a break, relax from all the gameplay, and then kind of take it all in as you get back into it. So, speaking of our maps, let's check out where we are going today, because, boy, Fortress, I was hoping we might get to see it, a brand new addition to the map pool, but no. Fortress banned out in the second round of ban phase.
Yeah, but we get Chalet, we get Console, we get Bank. This is your standard. I think Chalet especially is a collegiate stepping stone for other maps, and then you have Consulate. Again, I think, depending on how Chalet of map 1 goes going into Consulate, you're going to need a solid defense, especially for Kansas, because they're going to be starting on that attack. But again, I think Chalet, to start things off, should be a map that Kansas feels very comfortable on.
I mean, it's why they picked it. So hopefully they are comfortable on it, because starting 0-1 in this series, starting the season 0-1 is not going to be towards your favor. You've got to take 2 maps, and, somebody has got to lose their first match of the season. Somebody's got to win. We are going to find out who won best of 3 today for Division 2 NECC. It's spring, and I could not be more hyped for this one because, boy, great map pool, great opportunity, and the kids are back in town. It's time to play some Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I mean, also, I do want to shout out a couple of big changes, especially, some people aren't keeping up to date, especially with the patch notes. Every small little change that Siege makes. Thorn got a new update. Her trigger time is a lot faster, which makes her Thorn gadgets a lot quicker. They also gave her an additional one. Echo now has 3 of his drones.
Yeah.
Mozzie also got the Super Shorty with an additional pest on top of it. Not the 120, unlike the bug we got in the first week of release had. So again, I think not only do we get a new map, but, even though we're not unfortunate, we're going to see a lot of changes. One thing, though, that has not changed whatsoever is the bans. Amira and Cade to start things off. No surprise there. And then an Ace and a Flores. And I said this again, especially in Division 2, the bans really tell me the understanding or what level each team understands the games. And so far, these bans, I am pleasantly surprised.
Attackers need to
I love to see the mirror ban,
defuse
especially. I think some players underrate it, but just the different angles it lets you find. And for Houston Red, they definitely don't want to see that. Houston starting on their attacking side, while Kansas State JV will start on their defensive. And obviously with Thatcher, we've got the news that the bug is fixed, so we can now actually spectate Thatcher without being kicked from the lobby.
Yeah, and I think now that we've had this Thatcher change for about a month and a half, 2 months now, players have really fully started to understand the skill ceiling that Thatcher has. I mean, just in a recent match
10 seconds
at
to
the
insertion.
6th Invitational, the championship for Rainbow Six Siege, the biggest talent you have, you had someone shoot a C4 mid-air and deactivate it with that new Thatcher gadget. So it just allows for these attacking teams to do a lot more, position taking very safely and quicker. I mean, especially getting that plant down, that Thatcher is going to be really useful.
Well, we've got the Thatcher here from Musty Caterpillar. For Houston Red as they start off their attack. Again, first round of the spring semester. Get to take it in for these teams as they get ready and back to playing. Interesting for Kansas State. They've got both the Wamai and the Valkyrie, so some real roaming potential here. And, you know, if they can get flexible across this map early, if they can play their style of game plan, especially with all the information gathering tools they have, things can go quite differently.
You can just see how cautious Houston is being in this initial attack. I love that angle. Again, there's just like small little tidbits. The way that Houston Red is playing together, they're going for that direct sight take, not even attempting to go for the execute on the top floor. An opening kill there for Houston. That's going to be big. You got the Valkyrie watching the doorstep. Be the next player in contact with this attack. You do have Kai on that Blackbeard. The first one, the C4 goes out. He's going to throw back, but Kansas, they have to be very careful. There's only one player in the bomb site. He's been completely pushed back over to Solarium Stairs.
It's a really, really tough angle to fight from, and especially down a player. You got your Valkyrie already injured, and those heavy footsteps up the stairs. They're just going to try and regroup together, honestly, playing as a unit, trying to find some of the dual work ethic that they can find from the staircase. And for Houston Red, they're not super scared. They've got still a minute and some change to work with.
This is actually something you don't really see a whole lot, is teams going to open that site wall and attack the site, then try to clear this top floor. I mean, it does work if you're able to get something out of it. Xenox is able to get Kai. That's the Blackbeard off the board. Simple with a quick trade back. Still in the favor of Houston. They don't have control of that top floor, though, so there's still a lot of work around the map they need to do.
A lot of utility left in the pockets, though. 45 seconds left to go, and flying off that Azami barricade for some of those cheeky little left side head peeks. And as the time continues down, you wonder on a 3v4 for Kansas State, you've got to really put your efforts in a good spot, and Bobo finds a nice headshot. Sneaky's got another, and all of a sudden, +1 for Kansas State. With 25 seconds left to go, it's Mushy and Vans that have to do it all themselves, and realistically, they have access to those bombs. The problem is, watching the other side, nice headshot, waits with the patience to see if anybody else would pop out, and Mushy's got another one. So it's all down to Sneaky, 1v2, and it's Houston, the round 1 victory.
Yeah, a really huge flank there from the Gridlock, just getting them out of dodge there. I mean, a 4v3, and then out of nowhere, Kansas is able to create an almost winning opportunity in that 2v3, punishing with the line of sights. And kind of the problem that round for Houston is they did so much work away from the bomb site, a lot of that focus into that extension downstairs over inside of dining and kitchen, and that took almost around 2 minutes off the clock. So not only were you able or unable to hit the bomb site with not a lot of time to work with, you also never really worked the utility. Those Akiba barriers that the Azami was hiding behind. Those angles you didn't fully drone out. That's why the defense was able to dwindle it down. And if you didn't have that flank from the Gridlock, that is a round loss for Houston. But again, you had a hero player in a winning position, and he took that opportunity.
I like that. I mean, it shows get back here in spring, and obviously you've been playing in the offseason, you've been practicing with your team, but it's a little bit of a shake off the rust type deal with the confidence to play around your team and be able to run things in. A couple of late round swaps here. It's going to be the Ram to try and break through some of those floorboards, rather. The one big change for Kansas State, they're going to bring out the Warden here in this round.
I really like that, especially in this top Miz position where you're going to have a lot of utility thrown at you, whether it be smokes, flashes. Obviously, those glasses on Warden's noggin are not going to stop a grenade, but lucky enough for them, there's only 2 of those in the pocket of Vans. Houston Red starting the round off, going for an overclear by Solarium and Master Bedroom side, just trying to clear essentially most of the map before they hit that top. And this is something I talked about earlier, just watching these first couple rounds, watching the micro plays. I'm honestly very, not necessarily surprised, but pleasantly pleased by just how careful this Houston Red team is. I mean, you can see every mark, even Simple in this position. He's not trying to overextend, making sure that he has every corner checked off, setting his position prone, trying to make sure that there isn't a flank. They did initially drone a defender there, so good thing to mark that off.
That careful mentality, it earned them a good start to that last round where they got up in a player position. But Simple, especially on the butt, can do a lot of damage. As that skeleton key, just in case, needs the close range perfection. Meow with an infinite amount of W's in the name. Ready on the angle, Vance gets peeked and loses about 3/4 of their health. Has to re-rotate out. Outside for now, and using that window angle to their advantage here, but Houston is starting to get pincered in. They've got to use some of these ram boards to open up the flooring beyond them.
No first blood has been drawn just yet. A very good job from Kansas to not overswing or extend in these positions and give an easy kill to Houston, forcing this attack to work for every opportunity, every kill, every position. You need to take it. Kansas is not going to give it to you for free. Musty Caterpillar trying to find somebody, but it's Vans on the window to catch off Xenox. Sneaky with a quick trade onto Caterpillar. A C4 onto Simple, though. It's a 4v3, yet another man advantage for the defense.
They know where Bobo is, but they just can't clear out that position either. And +2 for Kansas State JV. Trying to send the Monty in. All they've got left is the Monty and Thermite. Good try at the pre-fire, but doesn't land anything. Camera's dead. Monty will try and shield, and this is a 2v4. But they're just going to try and play bodyguard. Protect the president, send it down the stairs, see what sort of space you can get. But eventually, there's just going to be too much for the Monty to hold on to, and Kansas State losing one. There's Long. Good trade. And now Monty has so much in front of them. Sneaky finds the 3K, and it's going to be Bobo that cleans things up on the end.
Kansas making quick work of that attack, especially onto that top floor. And we saw the exact same problem in the first round. That time around, though, there was not a player in a winning position that was able to make a hero play. And I think that is really important. If Kansas State can continue to find these rounds to just hide behind their extensions, double up on these players, use their utility to hold off this Houston attack, and then trade. I mean, you also have to keep in mind that Houston was the team to get that opening pick onto Kansas, and they were able to recover from that. I think that is a really fantastic thing that shows me that Kansas can play from multiple different positions, can win from multiple different angles. You don't need that opening kill to have success. You can just rely on what you've set on beforehand to win the round.
I really like that they got to shut down the Simple in that round, too. It felt like you gained so much space that, especially if you let somebody with a shotgun as their main sidearm to be able to bust through, can really cause some damage. But the barricade at the top of the stairs was good enough, and Kansas State JV equal 1-1 now. Not going to change up too much, but importantly, still relying on that Azami. Of course, so many of those really good barriers you can place all around the map to utilize those better peaks for yourself. That Bandit, critical to this composition. Simple's going to blow out some of the edge windows and see if they can deal some damage. That was one of the other things. Although Houston got that initial pick, I mean, Mushy and Vans were already reduced to like a fourth of their HP bar before the round had really even started.
That's the thing for Kansas, is they're not afraid to play aggressive, especially in these isolated positions. And it's kind of a dual-edged sword. You're able to get a kill or two and just play completely isolated and let the rest of your team do their thing. That's fantastic. But on the other side of things, it allows for Houston Red to have an easy isolated kill if they're able to take advantage of it. We saw in last round multiple times where they weren't able to take advantage of it. Vans taking a little bit of damage early on from that C4. Sneaky playing around these Akiba barriers very well. Noticeably, Houston changing up the play style. Instead of going for that clear over by Kitchen just simply all together, they're very spread out this round.
That spread out nature could cost them. Still 2 minutes left to go. A ton of time here for Houston Red to still assault where they want. Not as much in the pieces of utility. Just going to wait along the stairs here for Simple, who once again will try and be the hero. From the staircase way, you have so many different opportunities of where to go. And Mushy's going to try and assault from the other way. So for Kansas State, a lot of different pieces to keep track of right now. They've still got 5 alive. And Mushy's going to swing this one, looking for a 1v1 duel. There's support there, but it doesn't matter. Bobo Boy's got the initial first blood.
Bo's looking for another one. He finds it on to Long. He has the Monty completely isolated. The Wamai backing him up on an island. Here comes Simple trying to work his way through. Vans is able to help his teammate out. So as of now, Kai's able to get out of dodge. But look at Bo. He's completely trapped between a rock and a hard place. He's got an AR right in front of him. Simple, a shield right to his right side. This is going to be a tricky situation. He's simply going to be playing here to die, and Vans is going to make that happen.
Nice little double kill. Especially mid-round, it puts Houston Red up +1. Still even on the overall score. Houston Red trying to change that in their favor. They'll have to work with some of these injured health bars, especially this late in the round. Only 30 seconds to go. Things can change in a flash. They've still got their Monty, so a little bit of front side protection. Those electrified walls don't make things any easier. Some good pings and some better shots from Meow. Simple as dead. Vans and crew have to get it done now with just 15. They're trying to fight 1v1 here. The Asami is stuck in a corner. They will just play around with their food, but it's Meow who finds the double, finds the setup, and Sneaky's got the finale.
Oh, a shield right in front of him, but the Osa not being able to support his teammate for the second time just quick enough. And because of that, Kansas State, they're going to take that second round, 2 rounds in a row, make it. Going to get them to that third ban phase, taking that third operator off. More than likely going to see a Monty being taken off, and then the Zombie right with it. Again, I mean, everything here is kind of stock and standard, but not in a bad way. Both teams fairly understand what each other are doing in that round specifically. I mean, that Monty did a lot of work. Obviously, he didn't get a lot of the kills. He didn't have a lot of that firepower, but he drew the attention away, which allowed for the supporting teammates like that Osa to then support him and get those kills. And it really forced Houston to, or Kansas rather, kind of second guess themselves. He sees a Monty, you don't see anyone else, but there's probably a teammate creeping right behind that shield. Taking that off the board, that's not going to be a problem. And for now, at least, Houston's going to be swapping onto that blitz in replacement. I mean, a BB and a blitz still on the board is definitely dangerous, even though you don't have that Monty.
See what they do without that big shield. And for Houston Red now, it's their first disadvantage of the entirety of the series. Although, small sample size, we're only 3 rounds in. Kansas State, their setup here, trying to find themselves a good map in front of them. And you know what? Give credit to Sneaky. In just 3 rounds, 5-1-1. Pretty good on the KDA, building up the stats, and more importantly, it's helping the team win.
You can see that, Kansas a little late to extend this utility. But again, it's better late than never. Brava being brought on board to, counter the likes of a Maluzi. Even the Bandit is, operator you can counter, but Tubarap, something that Brava cannot take control of. Obviously, you can still get rid of these default cams, put them in the pocket, give your attacking teammates a little bit more info. But again, I like having that backup of the Tubarap, that even though those bans are taken off the board, you can still waste time, and that's important. You don't need those walls to stay closed the entire round. You just need to waste as much time as possible.
Timing has been somewhat of a later time issue for Houston, as they've been waiting until 30 seconds to exec and just not had the space to fully exhort their offense on Kansas State so far. But no first blood this time. It is still very early in the round, in round number 4. Kansas State has a chance to go 3 rounds straight here, put themselves up at +2 margin. And, there's a nice opener. Sneaky, we already talked about it. The headshot there earns first blood.
Yeah, in the blitz off of the board, too, that is going to be absolutely huge for the defense. You waste a lot of time not denying them from getting this wall open. You can see that starting to struggle. Simple going for a late flank over by the bomb site. That Maluzi gadget, though, is going to just slow him down for a little bit. The Goyo fire also is going to stop him in his tracks. Really good use of this utility from the defense to just completely stop any momentum from the attack. I mean, they're just standing here still. Eventually, though, they do get that wall open, but Meow in the corner. If Houston doesn't drone this, this could be yet another opportunity for the defense.
Only a minute to go. Trying to decide where they want to go. Finally activate some of that RAM. Destroy some of those floorboards. Maybe give them some more information to play with, especially with a lower leveled site. But as of right now, Houston, no damage even done. Try with the big ol' C4 in hand to do some damage. Meow waiting this. And Bobo's got the upside look as well. I mean, Kansas State is just well set up and ready to go as they swing it. It's already Zinzo who finds another one. Poe has got an extra. And Kansas State has ripped their offensive try. It's some good pistol shots from Vans. It makes it into a 2v2, but that is quickly stifled. Kansas State finds their third.
That's 3 rounds in a row after Houston took the first. And I think this is now a good time to mention that Chalet historically is a defender-sided map, sitting around that 60% win rate and, equating to around a 4-2 half. So if Houston is able to get just one more round, that is fantastic. But the good thing, though, is, that wasn't necessarily a horrible round, but it's these crossfires. This interconnected web that Kansas is setting up, and then on top of that, using the utility, using the Lamais, the Goyos, to add a lot more value. And also, it's kind of a situation where you just can't run at these points. You can't take these aggressive gunfights because you're going to be slowed down by the Malusi. And then right after that, there's going to be fire around your feet. And I think it's a really good job. You can have all this utility, but the important part is that Kansas is using it and timing it so well to deny the space from Houston.
10 seconds to go.
Even with patience on that, too. You talk about Meow in that last round, stayed in that position for so long in such a danger zone. Was able to get the job done. And even though you talk about, yes, more defender-sided map, at the end of the day, this is Houston's map pick. If you go into your first series of the spring semester and you fall, and you have to go onto Kansas State's map pick and map number 2, all of a sudden, things are not going to be so easy, to say the least. Still lots of rounds left to go, and for Houston, they have a chance to change where they want to go, and especially, they're going to bring the Brava this time, just like last time. See what damage they can do from the roof line.
I think one thing that I honestly want to see change from Houston is this ability to just take a long time. Sure, I really appreciate when attacking teams are careful, but when you're just dumping utility, dumping these drones, that drone from Caterpillar, what did you get from that? He got shot by the guy inside of Kill. You already knew he was there. That's your first point of attack. You didn't really gain anything from that. You have Kai in the Blackbeard. That's also, while it's a good addition, he hasn't really been able to get any use out of it. He's trying to make his way on his own, but again, he's isolated. And if he just pushes a little bit too far, it's an easy kill for this Wamai behind the shield.
Robo's been so solid here. Now, there are 5 just straight-up agents staring him down on the other side. Drop away. They know he's going to find the first. It's a headshot and a long boy. Long shots there. They're going to connect from the Warden, so all of a sudden, doors go down. 90 seconds to go. This is a much better look from Houston Red as they're up a player. But the timing will once again become a problem, especially if this Warden continues to give them problems.
Yeah, and no immediate retrade on that first pick is going to be huge. And Kai, he's just standing here. He's not taking any ground. The shield still has not been cleared, and there's no way. There's no utility. There's no more grenades. There's only a smoke in the pocket of Vans, who's all the way downstairs. Houston, they're stuck. There is no way to take any space, and a hero play from Vans isn't going to work because Meow just stops it in its tracks.
Simple's health bar doesn't help out the situation either. Simple 3 and 4. Meow, on the other hand, having a heck of a series, 4 and 1 so far. And the guarder now of the diffuser, which sits on the ground right in front of him. Meow could just hold out. 40 seconds to go, and realistically, again, what is Houston to do? They've got nothing. They've got no utility. They're throwing bodies at it. They've got a shielded man, but that's all they'll have left. Mushy, nice little double kill. We'll grab the diffuser at the least. 30 seconds left. This is all done and dusted.
Yeah, there's no chance for Caterpillar to maybe get a kill or two, but no, Poe's not even going to let that happen. Again, just consistently good. And it's kind of a sense where we saw in that first round, the entire win factor for Houston was just a late round flank that was more than likely not a call. It was just that individual player seeing an opportunity to making a play and making it. But more importantly, Kansas made sure that there are no gaps, that those late round plays, those huge hero opportunities will not be prompted. Those won't be open. You won't get that opportunity again. You have to rely on your team play. You have to be able to clear this utility, something that Houston consistently has failed at every single mark. That early round, getting rid of the default cams, getting rid of a lot of that, late, far away utility when there's no players around it. That's fine. They can do that easy checklist stuff. But when it comes to actually clearing pivotal map control, like top blue stairs with the shield, never got it open that entire time. They never killed or cleared library or mez. And these are very pivotal positions that they're not able to get whatsoever. That is a huge problem that they need to fix if they want now, at best, a 2-4 half.
They're sort of just like gambling on some of those solo
Attackers are
stacks.
heading out to defuse a bomb.
Zenzo has just been very solid to help defend alongside Meow. Everybody in the positive except Bobo, who is a perfect 500 on the kill death. You know, some changes here. Bringing the Zofia, some of those hard breach charges in the inventory to try and break things on through. Kansas State, though, you said it's a possible 2-4, or it could be the nightmare scenario for Houston Red. A 1-5 would not be how you want to start out this series.
Especially on your own map pick. I mean, that's something that we haven't even mentioned. This is the map that Houston wanted to play. Something that I said in the pre-show that they probably should be comfortable. So far, they're not comfortable whatsoever. And again, you know, I think it's kind of a thing where it's not a confidence problem. They're going into a lot of these gunfights in relatively good positions, but they're just not able to win it. You know, it's kind of a nice workaround to saying that Kansas sometimes just has the better guns. And I think the best fix that Houston can find for that is to, support. Put more drones in front of these entry fraggers, these solo lurk players. For example, Vans, who's continuously had success, hops on the Dokkaebi to give himself information. They're just hitting the site. Wait, what? They just went inside the window. They have to be very careful. His pole's downstairs. Vans finds the opening onto Sneaky. That's going to be absolutely huge. A really good run out from Yao Simple. He's able to find one. But Pod stuck downstairs.
And Kansas State tried to pull off the pincer, but way too late on the notification timing. And the diffuser is going down. Bobo will get finished off. Double kill in. Vance, nice long-range shot. It's a double kill from Vance. Still need to get the disabled down, and a long-range shot from Kai is good. Nice crossfire from Houston Red. They've just got one more man to take down, but it's Meow, who's been so solid, especially in the clutch moments. 30 seconds left to go. Clears the left side first. Sees the head bob up. Finally, chunked out. Pushed away. Only 3/4 the HP bar left, and long boy Timmis finishes it off. Houston walks away with 2.
One factor that I talk a lot about collegiate teams is when I see confidence and especially maturity. In that round, I think it was a very mature call for Houston to say to themselves, guys, round after round, we have not been able to clear this extension. We know we probably can't do this last round. Let's just go for a quick sight hit. Let's see if we can catch them off guard. And it was a gamble. And it's a position where it was a 2v3 the plant down. That's a very winnable position for the defense. But they took that gamble. They understood that was probably their best chance, being very realistic to themselves. And it got them the win. It got them that bare minimum of 2-4 half. And they now get to switch down onto their defense. Which, again, it could be a lot worse. This is usually where you find a lot of attacking teams going into that second half. One thing that is very different is the bans. A Mav and Ace band coming out for Houston Red, trying to say to themselves that we want to make it as difficult as possible to get those walls open. And then Kansas answering that back by saying, we're going to make it difficult for you to hold those walls closed.
Absolutely. I mean, they've got everything. We already talked about Zofia and the advantages of bringing those hard breach charges, but on the other side, my personal favorite, they're bringing some good frost action, get to lay down the welcome mats and see if they can catch anybody off guard. And for Houston, getting themselves going here in this defensive side sooner rather than later is going to be important. We talked about confidence and playing together. Well, Kansas State, if they can continue to solo frag out, especially Poe, who is now second in the entire lobby for kills, leads the team. If it wasn't for Vans having the incredible first series they've already had, then they'd be at the top.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Again, I think these first 2 rounds, specifically the first
5
round,
seconds left before
doesn't really show me a lot. We just saw that Houston Red, they won in a sense, but then the 4 rounds after that, they weren't able to shut it down. I'm looking to see this. Is it going to be a feeler round, or is this going to be a play style that we consistently see from Kansas on the attack? Already, I can see they've noticeably changed up, kind of similar to the loadouts that Houston were running. Again, I've said that a lot of these lineups, a lot of the way that these teams have been approaching Chalet so far has been very run-of-the-mill, but that's not a bad thing. You don't want to play the map too differently. You want to play into its favorites, bringing that Twitch to clear a lot of this utility, especially those Thorn gadgets that I talked about earlier on.
Yeah.
Twitch is a really good counter to that, and it's a very good read coming out early on from the attack.
I'm going to take some information at least on the stairway and give at least Kansas a way to enter through. Now, because these crossfires, oh, just the pixel is enough. You lose your head and leave it on the wall here. And Kansas State +1. What that also means is now Mushy needs to escape back to their single barrier that they've placed down to try and play a more defensive position, because Kansas State now has so much room to work with, especially you talked about the selection The 5 operators they're bringing, I mean, the Thermite plus Buck can pretty much clear anything they want to.
Yeah, I talked about how Kansas has been a really good team at recovering Houston Red, though. Not at all. The only 2 rounds they won were also the only 2 rounds that they were able to get the opening pick. I have no idea how he died to barbed wire. I didn't even see his health low. What? Oh, it was a thorn.
Yeah.
Oh, they paired the thorn trap with the barb, so he got hit. And then yes, that's exactly what it was. That is a really smart but simple way to pair those 2 bits of utility.
That's so mean. They've even got a frost on the composition, too. This is like a, you're not coming in, stay out. And a good correction there. A deflection. Kansas State, though, still in a 4v4. That player loss. They will use some of the Thermite charges here to bust their way on in. For Meow, still working inside while the rest of their team tries to find their way. The shotgun available. Long boy Timus, as they try and just angle down with some of those longer ARs. You've got the research from the Twitch to try and gather some information. 45 seconds left to go.
Mute behind the half wall, also being backed up by Simple. This is a position that they have to clear. C4 in the pocket of that Mute. This could be absolutely huge. This is a position that the attack needs to clear.
How gangster can you be? 30 seconds left to go. Sneaky's gonna walk in and get cleared themselves. It's a nice 2-for-1. Houston's got a player advantage. Mussie's got another. Make it a triple kill. And Meow will have to do it all themselves, and maybe they can. There's a good start to the headshot. 15 seconds, probably needs both kills at this point. And both other players are just gonna play defensive. Diffuser will go down, but will that draw out Houston Red? Yes, it will. They go for the clearance. Good fight, good win, and Vans tops it off with a cherry on the milkshake.
That was a really good double swing there. Also a really good round for Thorn. I mean, I talked about the biggest change. Specifically, I'm gonna nerd out a little bit here. Originally, her activation time, as soon as you walked into it, was 3.3 seconds. Just enough time for you to hear that trigger, see the little indicator on your screen, and walk away. Now it's down to 1.3. So as soon as you hit that Thorn trap, best case is you lose most of your health. Majority of the time, you either get downed or died. And I honestly, originally, I was like, oh, they paired it with that Frost. Or not the Frost, but the barbed wire. But in fact, they paired the Thorn, the Frost, and that barbed wire. Obviously, if you throw a nade, that's just 3 pieces of utility that's wasted. But kind of relying on Kansas not to drone that. I mean, again, I said that, the first round usually is a feeler for the attacks. So I don't think you're going to get away with that. You're going to have to be a little bit more creative with where you place this utility, because Kansas, throughout these next couple of rounds, are going to be a lot more cautious of where they're stepping.
10 seconds to insertion.
We'll get rid of the Frost out of the composition, too. Mira activated for
5
them,
seconds
wanting
to
some of
go.
those more diverse angles. It's Kansas State moving back to their attacking side here. 0 for 1 so far. If they can pick up this round and get them much closer to a victory. And you talk about getting those 2 rounds. Where do they come at? Because for Houston Red, it is your map pick. You got to remember, you are the ones in control, and definitely feeling confident after that first round defensive side win. It's just, can they do it now with a different composition?
The other thing that Kansas has done different when Houston was on their attack is you have the ability to play shields because you banned both those hard breach operators. But instead of just bringing one, Kansas is bringing both the Monty and the Blackbeard. And something that I like to say, it's like the more shots you take, the more you double up on it, the more it's going to hit hard. A Monty and a Blackbeard on the board, that's ability to clear a lot of space, especially for such a heavy extension from this Houston defense all the way into side of kitchen and dining with this Mira.
It can sometimes feel like a massive map, so just getting to dice it into smaller pieces, smaller maps, smaller bites of the cake, and Simple is going to take a bite. First blood there. Enzo is dead, and Kansas State down a player. Still both those shielded left alive as Simple does escape, but barely just a smidgen left on the health bar. For Kansas State, now what do you do? Kind of working from this outside, re-rotating where their shields are set up, and it looks like they want to hit down low.
Yeah, that's an opening pick for Hughes. I talked about how important that was. Yeah, Sneaky just on top of the hatch. Meow right down below. It's still 2 nades in the pocket, so we can use that to clear these players. He's going to use it to clear the player in the half wall, but is he aware of a 3-man crossfire? No, he is not whatsoever. Vans is going to triple up that man advantage, and now it's just the Monty in the Flores alone. And speaking of alone, that Monty inside of kitchen just staring at 3 people. There's nothing that he can do here.
I guess just try and play this 2v5. At the moment, I think the only silver lining is that they didn't drop the diffuser, so Meow still has got that in the inventory. The problem being, they're just checking every angle. And realistically, Houston doesn't have to play aggro. They know they've still got control full of the sites. Meow will try and break some outer windows as well on their way back in. And pulling out the pistol, shots are no good. Vance gets the double kill. And it's all down to Bobo, who has a 1v5 in front of them. And we'll look for a first spray to try and take one down in the repeat. But again, just a situation tough to start with, tough to end with here. And Houston Red will go flawless as Vans earns their triple kill.
2 rounds completely unanswered. That's going to prompt Kansas State to take their time out, and I think that is perfectly timed. One thing that I have an issue with in competitive Rainbow Six Siege, all the way from the lowest level up to the top leagues, is teams not understanding when to take a timeout when they're down like 6 rounds. Like, okay, we've lost almost every round. Now it's time when we're on the last round of the match. But Kansas, after 2 rounds, understanding they don't have a foot in this half so far, they have no idea what to do against this Houston defense. And in all honesty, I don't have the answer. There isn't one thing that you can bring out. There's not one play style change that you can bring. I think, obviously, maybe you have a little bit more information operators. Bring a Dokkaebi in, maybe. But that's not the problem. You're not dying to these rumors. You're not dying to isolated players. You're dying to these 3-man crossfires. Just like we saw in that last round, the Blackbeard walked into 3 people. But the important part is he didn't know that. He thought there was just 1 to 2. And if you just had that extra bit of information, you would have been able to go into that engagement a little bit more cautiously.
And it kind of all stacks together, right? That they lost to some of those early crossfires, just mean they didn't have the players to attack from above. So they couldn't diversify where they were coming from and just made their attack one-sided. Interestingly enough for Kansas State, obviously their 4-round wins were 4 straight, back on that defensive side, but it's also tough to fight when Vans, by the way, with his KDA at a 4.0, 14 kills, only 4 deaths, having already a heck of a start to the spring semester.
And one thing that I like from Houston, a little in addition after that timeout, is bringing that Maestro. Obviously, you know, it's not going to be as potent as a pulse with Vans, but again, if you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of time and your diffuser or your planter rather doesn't have a lot of health, those Maestros, not only are they going to take up a lot of time, but a lot of utility. I mean, there's so much you have to really focus on. Do you want to use that utility to clear the Maestros? Do you want to clear the Maluzis? It's very risky to just walk up on one of those Wamais, or not Wamais, but one of the like pulsars, and then just shoot it. So it's kind of a thing where you only have 4 nades, you don't have an Ash on board. You have to be very careful with how you use this utility to clear a space for Kansas to try to get a foot in the map.
This one's a tough one too, because if you don't win this round for Kansas State, it'll be 3 rounds lost in a row on this side. Again, it is more defender-sided, but even still, you need to find ways to answer, and adaptations is the #1 word. You talked about it, I talked about it, especially this young in a season. You need to be able to talk to your team and what you really want to do, so out of the timeout, I'll send in, destroy some of those cameras at the start. It's nice, C4 already, Meow is out of the round.
I mean, that is a huge play there from Vans. He's continuously been that star player on Houston, using that information, this pulse scanner, to get that C4 kill really good. And you get this striker off the board. That is a lot of utility in the board. I mean, you can bring 2 sets, you know, whether it be a nade, flash, whatever it be. So that's a lot of utility removed, and no immediate trade. I think that's another thing. A lot of the time when a team doesn't get an immediate trade back after losing that entry, they tend to struggle, and they tend to kind of, you know, just walk around and, you know, kind of be slow.
As they slow things down, it's actually quite interesting, especially because we're dealing with a first floor bomb site. They haven't really established themselves even onto this 2nd floor, so they're just trying to find a way in, trying to find a angle to enter through, especially with something like a Wamai that can just rotate in, deal some damage, and Simple's good for another. The headshot is there, dodges away from the utility. The bomb won't kill him. It will kill Mushy, though, on the other side from Zenzo. That's a good kill back. But they're down to 50 seconds.
We saw the head. Oh my, but he just misses it. 45 seconds on the board. They are going to be able to get sneaky up. You don't have a lot of time. You don't have a lot of space. You don't have a lot of information. And there goes those Maestro cameras. There is almost nothing. This is almost unwinnable for Kansas. They're going to have to work a miracle.
Miracle even less such a simple. Gets a triple kill. Doubles up off the headshots. Never missing. And Zenzo. It's a 1v4. There are some damaged health bars, but realistically, as the diffuser, would need even more than a miracle, dipping down from the stairway and looking for the long angle through. It's a double swing, but it's a headshot to start. Double kill, triple, but Vans has got the cleanup. Janitorial from Houston.
Take your time out and immediately lose in the fashion that you did. Definitely not what Kansas wanted to do. And honestly, it's not a sense where they're not using utility. I think the perfect way to really put it is they're just not synced up. They're trying to, clear that player on top of loose stairs. You have somebody swing it, die, and then your Flores puts the drone to push that player back. One, the player's already dead. That Flores drone, it didn't really have an effect. And then on top of that, he just retakes the position. There's nothing to fully push him out. You don't take the space after pushing that defender away. It's kind of a thing where you can bring all this utility, but if you can't time it correctly with your entry fraggers, your players that are clearing the space and trying to get the kills onto the defense, it doesn't matter. You can use Flores drone after Flores drone. He's just going to keep jiggling. He's going to walk down the stairs, walk down up, and it goes for almost every position around the map. That's something Kansas needs to be very self-aware.
Like a good tin of jelly. Just keeps on jiggling. Keeps on going. Houston Red jiggles their way all the way up to 5 rounds. Again, 3 rounds straight. Confidence building on top of each other. Kansas State, now they need to be able to strike, especially in this round. Already giving over 6. 4 rounds in a row would be such a hit to the confidence. Say what you will about this being Houston's map pick. I mean, Kansas State has to be super confident to not allow this round to go their way. And, they've got the tools to do it. They bring back the buck. I don't hate the shotgun, a skeleton key, the shotgun on the attachment to go to deal some damage at close range, but they've got to get in those close range duels to actually give them access.
Got nades and the flashes inside of that striker. Yeah, Zero taking a lot of space very early on. This is something we haven't seen. We haven't seen Kansas play very isolated, using these lurk players to take a lot of space. See the striker getting a lot of position. He's completely cut off this player on top Mez from this player over inside of Piano. You also have Zen for Zero. He's trying to cross. Oh, please get this kill. This would be terrible if you don't, and he gets away. No! Your only job, Buck, there is to kill that player, and you fail at it. You do a lot of damage onto Vans. You prevent him from getting the opening kill, so you know what? That's a win in itself. I think they'll take that.
Let's take what you can get. 2 minutes still left in the clock in a much more aggressive round. 16 kills from Vans. Already searching for a 20 bomb in just the first series of the entire spring season. Both teams 0-0, trying to find their first overall series victory, but also just this first map as guys just sprayed down to nothing. Smidgen of HP torn down to nothing. Vans finds the trade.
This is exactly what I was talking about. You clear the space, Vans immediately gets the kill and retakes it. I mean, you haven't accomplished anything. Sure, you've killed Kai. You remove that position in top Mez. But you're still worrying about this player, and he goes back down blue. He's just wasting time. He's not even trying to get a kill here. And if you either, one, don't clear him out or hit the site quick enough to the point where he can't flank, then it doesn't matter. He's just going to retreat back to site. He's not even going to try to go for another kill. He's going to regroup with the rest of his teammates inside the bomb site. Now it's up to Kansas to start to work this. Going to be getting the wall, opening with these Habana jabs. Oh, actually no Habano, yeah, but Habana. You still have you have 4 Candels in the pocket of Sneaky, so if you can try to get a safe plant down here, still very winnable, but you have to be cautious of Vans downstairs inside of Dining.
Vans has already showed they can deal incomprehensible amounts of damage. Sneaky. They themselves started out the series really good. Some drones will grab some info. A good ping on the half wall. Up the stairs the other way from Bo. Trying to play off this 3 stack. It's got to be timed perfectly. Bobo with the long angle. Scoped in. trying to deal something that starts off this round, and it'll go down to 20 seconds. First the nades come in, then the blinds. Just going in, why not? C4 in hand that could ruin everything, but Poe gets a headshot, double kill, trade away with the C4, and the spray is not good enough. Sneaky finds the 1-for-1, it's a double kill for Vans, walking in from Long Boy, and we've got a 1v1, a triple kill. And Vans, the clutch master, may try and deny the defuser, but it won't go just yet.
Does he know where it is, though? You have to be very cautious. And Poe, he's gonna get out. Shot from Vans. Does he hear? He knows he's in the corner. He knows he's right next to him. He doesn't know how to approach it, though. And it's Poe with the clutch. 3 rounds being completely bled, but they're able to get one to even it out to 5-5.
An absolutely bloody post defusal, and boy, oh boy, everything went down. Nades were there, blinds were there, and yet Kansas State found some semblance of calm within the storm. And now Houston will have to answer. As you mentioned, all tied up 5-5 here. This first map coming very close to its end. But at the end of the day, Goose, it doesn't matter how close you got in winning the map. It just matters who wins the map.
This is the first time throughout 10, now 11 rounds that we've seen a defensive team go to the basement. And there is a reason. Out of the 4 total bomb sites, this is the least played. It's technically, and it has been proven to be pretty hard to play for the defense, be pretty hard to hold. Because if you look at that floor inside of the fireplace area, you can open all of that. And essentially, you can just have a visible vertical onto the entire bomb site. So it is very important for this defensive team of Houston to play these roams and these extensions to try and deny as much time and space from the attack. And if Vance can work that out, playing inside of dining and kitchen, a position he's played with the Mira specifically time before, it should work out for him.
That Mira's been so good, and you know, it's rare it slips through the ban phase, and especially that second round of ban phase as well. Kansas State, I mean, that Thorn ban has really provided them so much more space. I credit it to that last round win as well. They're going to go in straight through the back door here. Let's see if they can find some early space. For Houston, again, it's all about delaying time.
Just trying to time this wall correctly. There's no Cade. So, I mean, it's going to be relatively easy. Kind of a situation where Kansas take a little bit too much precaution. But, you know, too much precaution for a situation where there really isn't a threat, isn't necessarily that bad whatsoever. Working the wall really early on is good. Getting that opening pick onto Simple also is going to be fantastic. Kansas also not an immediate trade. It looks like Kansas is going for a direct site hit. Trying to move around that extension that Vans is holding. And he realizes this. So he's going to push up inside a bar, try to get as close to this defense, or this attack rather, as possible. Kai also making his way up those stairs, but here's Poe inside of dirt. Trying to potentially get a backstep, and if you can time it right, you get the kill onto the Mirror here.
And especially onto Vans. When you talk about Vans on 18-5, there's that Vector ready to go, the 26 mag, and there's the shield from the Monty, followed up by Vans. Big ol' shot to the head, makes it 4v4. An early score here for Kansas State, though, as they need to find more space down the staircase. Long shot's good, and Mushy's got yet another. 2 straight kills from the side of Houston, and the Monty is once again stranded.
Kansas in a 3v4, very low on health, especially that Glaz Monty. An absolute menace, but they're not able to work anything off of it. A nice jump in from that Glaz, going to take Kai off of the board. They still have to find a way to get this plant down. Caterpillar's going to take one, an immediate trade by Meow, making it now a 2v2 with 42 seconds left. Both players on Kansas completely disconnected.
Find the solo effort. 30 seconds left to go. Meow is the one with the diffuser. And they win their ISOs. Nice takedown on Sneaky, and there goes your shield front line. Vans ready to go. Long Boy finds their 6th kill of the series. And the workaround from Meow. It has the range, has the advantage on the long look, and has the diffuser most importantly. That time Q is everything, this double setup. Swinger on the crossfire here with under 10 seconds to go. You need both. You'll get the flash. Can you get it down? Can you find it? And it looks like Jans will go again. And Vans has found their 20th kill. And yet another defensive round win.
Oh my god, if his bullet trace just a couple of inches, he gets the head of Vans there. But blessed, whether it be by God or plot armor that's been bestowed upon Houston, they're going to take advantage of it. Now taking one round away from winning map 1. Their map pick, keep in mind, that is 4 rounds on the defense. No surprise whatsoever if you're very well read up on Chalet. Again, I talked about, this defense is very strong for a lot of teams here on Chalet. And especially when you have a player like Vans dropping 20 kills. I mean, you cannot complain. I mean, that is exactly what you want out of your star player, who's honestly not really playing that aggressive roles. A Mira, a Castle. Sure, you can, play that flex role, but I mean, that's not really hard entry operators. So the fact that Vans is getting a lot of utility or a lot of use out of not only his kills, but also his utility is a very contributing factor to the success for Houston.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, 20 kills is 20 kills, right? You'll take it on anybody, and especially to do it in most of the late round scenarios, in scenarios where you need to be able to clutch.
Attackers are moving.
It's put Houston right there. But overtime, that'd be a fun way to start out the spring semester, straight into overtime to decide things. It is this first map point, though. For Houston Red, their map pick. Would hate to go all the way to overtime for either one of these teams. I mean, again, confidence builder to not only start at the series, but the season with a win, and then to be able to follow that up. If you go to overtime and lose, I feel like it just kills all of your confidence for the series.
Now it's kind of up to Kansas to change their playstyle. You want to go more aggressive? Right now, it just looks like they're taking the precautions, doing the regular stuff, and I like this. Going for a Solarium take, you got 2 people on the windows trying to apply pressure. Lucky enough, Vans is in a position where you can catch them off. These DMRs, though, in the pocket of Meow, the newest addition to Ana's gun lineup is really good. I mean, 2 to 3 shots and he's down. It is a very fantastic gun, especially if you're sitting on those windows. That is probably the best place you want your DMR player to be in. Also, a lot of work being done by Buck down below. You can notice that all 5 players for Houston are in and around the bomb site. Nobody roaming, so this should be a very easy setup for Kansas. It just comes down to the execution.
Yeah, can they work together, too? I mean, you talked about that end setup last time for Kansas State. Both of them started on kind of an island on that 2v2. So now it's a lot different. Mushy, the first bit of blood drawn will go their way, losing about 1/3 of their HP overall. For Kansas State, they've relegated them all to the same floor. Now they've got to work even further. Just some laying down bodies as Houston, again, has a chance to win this map right here with this round. And early down at a Bobo is not what you want to see from Kansas State.
Now losing that opening pick could potentially pick him back up, but not in the best position to do that. These lines of fire being held by Kansas is just what working in their favor right now. Looks like Zero's going to be taking that, trying to get him back up. They eventually do get him back up. Cloud player, he takes space over inside a bathroom. A 5-man count going into the last 30 seconds.
But NECC for a better script here. And a good takedown from Bobo. Gets revived, gets the kill. What a setup. And Mushy kicking down below the 4th line. Less than 1/4 of their HP to play for, but only 20 seconds. Diffuser being planted. Is it just a retake scenario for Houston Red? That's what they're going to go with. Meow gets it down. Now they know. Now they've got to push. And with Mushy so injured, you have to wonder how this setup actually looks, because for Kansas State, they've got so much space to play for, but Sneaky's dead. Simple that first take. They'll fully take him down. 2 for 1. 3v3. Diffuser still planted. And they've got to go get that space, but Simple runs right into the spray. And Poe's got yet another. The shotgun takes one, but that double kill from Bobo is already back in their face. 20 seconds and a crossfire that's undefeatable. HP bars low on every side, but we're going to overtime.
I mean, that is a perfect execution onto that master bomb site. You have complete control of Solarium. You open that single wall that is reinforced at top Solarium, and you have somebody playing on the double window, and then you have somebody on highway playing onto the bathroom window. Having almost every single checkpoint crossed off, so no defender can find a line of sight onto that diffuser. I mean, it is almost a perfect round there from Kansas. At the same time, Houston, because they didn't roam, because they didn't have any threat from below, it was relatively an easy setup there for Kansas. Again, I talked about those crossfires, those cut angles being held by players like the Habana with the DMR. I mean, if you swing that with an SMG, I mean, your head just taken off. It's going to be a difficult situation.
And sometimes you get into these like later rounds, especially like around 12, last one in regulation, you're like, okay, let's just play a little safe. Let's not go too far out. Let's not risk a roam. And then you die for it at the end because you just don't take that space at the start. Still going to consist with Amira here. Not too many changes from the Houston defense. For Kansas State, though, a little bit of confidence built off of this one. And if they could steal away their opponent's map pick and map number 1, boy, that would feel so good.
Yeah, and I think it's also, I mean, if we look at the, I don't like to do this, but if we look at the KDs of both teams, you can see obviously Van's doing really good, but no one else on his team is even positive. The best you have is Caterpillar, who's a 9-9. That's even. But if you look at Kansas, almost every player is enabled. The lowest scoreline is a 7-9, but I mean, that's from your 2 support players. You can't really complain, so it's kind of a situation where if Vans is taken off the board, especially very early on in the round, Houston having a little bit of difficulties propping up other players to have success in that fragging department.
And again, it's quite weird because, again, Vans hasn't been traditionally been playing something uber aggressive. Mostly just the Castle and the Mira. Mira the selection for this one. Overtime round number 1. Gonna be an interesting look at the motorcycle on the outside. Wait and go on in now. Got the Dokkaebi for some extra information. They've got the Monty for the front line as well. They've also got the Ram, which adds quite a bit of interesting setup for this Kansas State team. But they want to go from above. They can drop that Ram and give themselves a lot of really good angles.
I also like the addition of the Sens with Kansas. Last time they went for that execution, the problem they had was just using consistently having a line of sight on that plant. And Sens is a fantastic operator. And, you know, there's nothing to really deny it. You're just going to have to use one of your C4s and impact to destroy it. But if you can't angle that right, I mean, that's a really quick way to get that plant up. But again, the continuous problem for Kansas is not having the utility, but timing it right. If you can't time it in sync with your diffuser going down, I mean, that's going to be a missed opportunity.
Timing is everything. Playing on a knife's edge here, and shoulder blades stick out. The pixel peek from Vans. The Vector strikes again for an opening first blood headshot, and Vans has got a double kill. You gotta be kidding me. Someone has gotta shut Vans down, and Kansas State having no answers. 3 players left to go. Only 60 seconds on the clock, and Vans trying to earn more damage.
I mean, every time he sees one of the attackers of Kansas State, he just unloads his mag into him. It doesn't matter if it's a Sens or a Monty. And speaking of the Sens off board, you also removed the Ram, who wasn't able to open that floor whatsoever. And now Crossfire being held by Caterpillar all the way inside of Kitchen, and then one onside of top stairs, but doesn't matter. Sneaky sneaks his way in, takes the head off of Caterpillar. 20 seconds left. There's not a lot of time to work with.
Not a lot of time, but still the players. That's what's important. You've got to get this Monty in position first and see if you can get the pincer in. Zenzo's coming from the other side here, but it's just Simple spraying down. It's already a 4v2. And just some random shots from Meow. Will they land? Yes, they will. It turns it into a 2v2. But Simple continues to fire up. Already a double kill, and Sneaky is out of time. Kai takes the extra headshot, and Houston, the first one to take a round here in OT.
It's just new. Oh my god. And again, you know, I think right before that, you know, I spoke about, hey, Vans doesn't get active. They have a problem winning the round. 2 kills to start off is exactly what you need. But again, I think it's kind of a thing where that's what you expected for Kansas. Going into overtime, there is 3 total rounds. 2 of those rounds, Kansas has to play the attack. And Houston, using their timeout, they want to get it done here. This is kind of a situation where they're not using this to say, okay, we're going to set up the next 2 rounds. They're setting up this round right here. They are pulling out a pocket strat. They want to try and catch Kansas off guard. And honestly, I mean, that probably gets into the head, the mental a little bit of Kansas, because they don't know what Houston's going to pull out.
It also is, I mean, a little bit beneficial to Kansas State at this point that, they get to talk about it just a little bit more. They get to discuss what they want to do. But the question, like you said, it's a little bit of an icing. You've got to think about what you're doing for a team that might be lessening on the communication because upset about the previous round. And I mean, Houston, they could just be cheering. I mean, they could be cheering on Vans, who's been having such a good day. But defense has been successful for both these two teams, and for Kansas State, you're still in this. You win this one round, you reverse it back to another overtime. That's exactly what they would want. You would want to take this first map. You still aren't out of the series if you lose this first one, but it definitely becomes so much more pressure.
I'm sorry. I just love Vans, bro. This guy's played Castle, and now he's on Cali. This bro's bringing out the sniper. He's 22-7. He's like, I think I can clip someone here. In all honesty, I believe in him. I think he's gonna get at least 1 kill with his Cali. And I talked about it in the last round that Kansas won on their own attack. Is holding these long, deep angles. And a lot of the time, Kansas, especially on their defense, they've been swinging it. They've been swinging in these unfavored positions and bringing in an operator like a Cali.
5 seconds
And then the DMR, more than likely on Simple. Maybe even Caterpillar brings his DMR out. I'm waiting to see if they are. But again, I mean, it's an ability where if you swing one of these windows, Kansas, you have to be careful because your head could be just ripped off right away.
Those negative player scenarios have really hurt them. They haven't been able to recover at times from just losing 1 or even 2 players early. I don't see some feet walking on by. Sneak is going to punch out some of the holes down low. Was able to get a nice pistol shot last round. Kansas State now on the back foot. They win this round or the map is done. Of course, Houston able to select this map as number 1, but Kansas State still has their map pick left to go. Got to win 2 maps. Want to take the entire series. And for Houston, it does start with Vans. We'll see what they can do.
I mean, the Vans doing exactly what I was speaking about. Playing these really deep and long angles where if you swing him, he is more than definitely favored. He keeps playing inside of this kill corner, but there's not really a lot of utility to push him out. No nades. All you have are the Candelas of Kai and the flashes in the pocket of Simple. So your best chance here is just to blind the player, jump in, and then kill him.
Well, guy's dead. Sneaky gets the first entry, and I mean, how good has Sneaky been in those first bloods? You talk about Vans on the other side, who has been good at the end rounds. But Sneaky starting to become more and more of a bright spot. Starting to blow their way through. Mushy trying to go in. And even though Houston is down a player, a lot of good space here from Vans. Everything could change with 1 good shot.
I want to see if he's used 3 of these explosive devices from his sniper. And none of... Okay, the last one works, but he gets immediately C4'd after. That is so unlucky. You can see that Simple. He's just tracing on the top of these steps, just waiting for the player to peek. The timing must work in his favor. He just has to be patient, but on the other side of things, this LIama doesn't have to swing. He can just sit here and just waste as much time, especially the player inside a library where he's still holding. They don't have to move. Houston isn't going out of their way to push them.
That could cost him. I mean, Vans is back after the resurrection. That being said, the health bar not phenomenal. 3 players left alive for Houston Red here. They just go. Vans is dead, and it's a bloodbath. Volbo has found another multi-kill round, and Kansas State in full control. Simple will do what they can, but at this point, it is just a matter of time. Has the diffuser is the one good news. It feels like Kansas State has got this locked down. Simple loses half of their health bar, and is just trying to dip around the stairs. Does get 1. A double kill from Simple and a little bit of a reload. Early burst on the damage. Isolate the second headshot. The answer is no. Overtime, number 2. Let's find it.
The very last round, if you're very unfamiliar with how overtime works in Siege regularly, like we have here, there is no infinite overtime. So the first team to win 2 rounds, that's 2 out of 3 wins. And technically, if we've been going by the history of this map, not only before this game, but throughout the night so far, Houston should win this round.
Yeah.
You don't have any timeout for either team. There's no opportunity to sit back, take a breather, maybe ask your coach a couple of questions, ask your coach, can I get that water bottle over there? You don't have that opportunity. You have to just simply rely with what is right in front of you and what you have to work with.
Bombs.
I'm kind of worried about Kansas State, but Houston Red going to the bomb site that they lost in the very last round of regulation. Obviously,
Bomb located by
they went
attackers.
1-1 on it. It's not like Kansas completely dominated on this bomb site, but in my opinion, this probably is the best bomb site for Kansas, their best chance to win.
Like you said, I mean, we don't go infinite here. This is it. No time to think, just time to do for these two teams. What relies on it is this map number 1 victory.
10 seconds left.
I mean, how big would it be for Kansas State winning twice on this? 2 very
5
pivotal
seconds
rounds and then
insertion.
getting to go to your map pick next. Boy, that would feel infinitely
Attackers are
good.
moving
For
to
Houston
defuse
Red,
the
though,
bomb.
pretty much the same setup. They're going to put Vans back on the castle.
Kansas State, they're going to do the exact same thing. But this time around, I spoke about, you remember, in the very last round, that one of the easiest things for Kansas was they didn't have to worry about anybody below. Saw that camera at top west main, trying to make sure that nobody's there, but you also have that Nomad in gridlock to prevent any flank if Houston decides to go for it. So not only is Kansas understanding that we can go for the exact same push, it favored us, we played it really well, but we're going to bring this extra utility as, you know, some sort of insurance to, you know, code us so we don't have to worry. So we put our 90% of our focus on the bomb site itself. And the bomb site is set up, the castle's in the exact same place, but that Maestro cam, I'm really curious. I think it can see onto the bomb site, so if they try to go for a plant over by that closet, inside of Master, they're going to have that cam from Kai that can just shoot them. It might be a pest, and if they don't take it out, that could win the round.
Really good call. I mean, knowledge is everything, too. Just being able to see, especially that much space. Lots of good tools right now from Houston to deliver this round in their favor. For Kansas State, they've got some space on the stairs, but Bobo, a lot of players in front of them. Nice timing on the destroy. Reaction as well. For Kansas State, it's good that they haven't lost any early players, but a little bit slow on the space taking.
Yeah, it's just Kansas trying to find an opportunity. The buck below is going to push Simple out. They still have to clear Solarium. They're now just getting that wall open with a minute. It's, again, a round where it's going to come to a 5v5 unless Kansas can make a really big move, if they can find a really big play here.
Play's got to come sooner rather than later, though. Kind of 60 seconds. Now it's got the diffuser. That could add things to it. Sneaky. Just a bit of chip damage that they deal with. And down low, but she's going to find the headshot. As Bobo dies, Houston's up +1. What it also means is a rotate. Bushy rotating and getting damage on Sneaky takes him down to a third. And that's going to delay them even further.
Sneaky on the floor, 0. Trying to see what he can do here. Still trying to get the wall open. They have the case in their pocket. Somebody on that wall. This is still possible, but you have to be wary of the player inside of the closet.
Really low, actually, on the other side. Rez will get there, but it's a trade. Simple with a pistol, does him in. 20 seconds left to go to decide everything. And Poe, from the long range, gets the double kill. Can he slide in the window? Can he find the timing with his two teammates rotating on the other side? 10 seconds now. A spray from Caterpillar. It's a double kill. And there's just no more chance. They're spraying in. Meow gets one back, but no chance to find the 2 kills. It's Houston. They get it done under the sun, under the pressure, and map number 1 is theirs.
Yeah, really good adaptation there. I mean, it's kind of a situation where if you're Houston, you go to that bomb site, you have to make a change. Playing a lot more heavy in that master and bathroom position, preventing Kansas from taking that space. And they get their map pick. It was a very hard-fought victory. Maximum overtime required every round possible in the book. But now we go into Consulate, a map that, in theory, Kansas likes. That's why they're taking us there.
I mean, if they play like they did on map number 1 and they're this confident, it could be very possible we head to a map number 3. I'd love to see it for the first series of the entirety of spring. But for Houston, just fixing up some of those errors, being able to get the job done. And then, I mean, Vans, what a performance. 24 kills in just the first series of the day. will definitely help them as they build things through. But you know what, for us, we've got to get ready to set up map number 2. It's going to be Consulate. It's going to be a ton of fun, but before we head there, we've got to hit ourselves a short break. So don't go too far as we set up map number 2, series of the day, here in Division 2 for spring. Welcome back, everybody. Still here at the NECC spring season as Houston Red strikes first blood in the series and takes map number 1. It was their map selection, but they were able to get it done. Myself, LIama 77, and Goose still up here in the booth. And Goose, what did you think of that first map?
It really did just come down to who could be better on the attack, or at the end, max overtime, who had more defenses. And it was Houston Red who had the most defenses. And now we go on to Consulate, arguably the most defender-sided map in the entire map pool. Arguably Fortress is up there, but it hasn't had a lot of play there, so team's still testing that out. So again, I look at the same two questions. Either the team winning is going to have to be better at attacking, or they just have the more defensive round.
I mean, defense is going to be important, but the real question I'm going to ask is, can Vans repeat that performance from map number 1? Well-deserved of the MVP, a 20 bomb out of nowhere, and then tallied it up to 24 before we made it to the end. So for Kansas State, though, one thing is on the mind. If they don't win this map, the series is over, and their first series would drop them to 0-1 at the start of the season. Let's on over to Consulate and get into the ban phase.
Yeah, in Houston Red, they get to start on the defense. And I mean, in Houston's position, you just got to rack up as many rounds as you can. A 4-2-half is usually what we expect, but a 5-1 every now and again is a lot more common on defensive sides than other maps. And yet again, I'm just waiting for these bans. I'm very excited. Every once in a while, especially in Consulate, I do get surprised because Consulate's a little more flexible because it's such a big map. You can play it so many ways. You can run a lot of traps. You can run a lot of breach denial. Mirror being taken off the board. Ace to make it a little bit harder to get those walls open. Nothing surprising there. My question is Houston going to decide to double up on that hard breach, or are they going to bring a shield out of the pocket? And the Thermite doubling up the Thorn with it. Pretty much kind of what I expected. I don't exactly know if the Thorn is possible, but with the context of the first map and how much Houston played the Thorn, it does make sense they ban it out.
It feels like a lot of their early defensive rounds were defined by getting those early Thorn kills. So we've got our selections in, though, and we've got our sides here. What's on the line? Obviously, for Houston, they win this map. Series is over. Kansas State trying to battle back, force that third and final decider of Bank, which, don't get me wrong, would be fun, but especially for some of these players, already a pretty late series, almost 11 p.m. in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. So if they've got school tomorrow, I want to wrap this one up quick.
Yeah, that's another thing. If we, whether it be overtime here on Consulate or if we go to a third map, I mean, on, the Eastern side of things, it's 11 o'clock basically. So again, after a long day of school, maybe some players have work. The mentals are going to start to slip a little bit. You're going to be making a lot more mistakes. I didn't think we necessarily saw too many huge crucial mistakes be made by either team over on map 1 of Chalet. But I mean, as we get deeper and deeper into the series, I mean, it's more than possible.
Very much is, and maybe they're locked in for the gamer hours, but you know what, all of these players, students first, and that's the number one thing for them. I know I've had some funny scenarios in the past casting some collegiate where some of the playing rooms turn off the Wi-Fi at midnight, so I got immediately disconnected. So hopefully these teams have got the administration at their backs.
Yeah, it's always good, if you're playing, whether it be in a school facility, if you're playing in your dorm, make sure you talk to whoever it is that controls the Wi-Fi. You definitely don't want that being turned off. But again, I mean, I don't think play style wise, we're going to see anything being changed up. Both teams doing a really good job at doing that dirty work early, getting these walls open, droning, trying to clear this position. I really love this extension here from Houston State, that triple wall reinforced, the Beluzi, and now the Arunis being added on here to nice space. And I have a situation where Caterpillar makes his way too close behind that or in front of that hallway window, being caught off guard. But another instance where unless Kansas makes a move and forces these defenders out of their position, there's no reason for them to leave. You can sit on these windows for as long as you like. There's nothing forcing these players out. A Snade being timed well with Sneaky, and that's the opening kill yet again onto Kai.
Got push out headshot and almost finds Simple. Barely survives on their own left side look. For Kansas State, really good start. They take first blood of this map, and a nice shotgun walkout from Caterpillar will even things up 4-4. They've had the confidence to do a lot of those walkout plays. I mean, Van's back on an SMG, burn a lot of that mag, and destroying some of those barriers that limit their way in. He's in a really good position to do some damage, most importantly. Sneaky is such a cornerstone of this round.
Yeah, a little bit slow with the Sens trying to guide the way the Forest to clear that space. Vans takes a lot of damage. He needs to be careful of this position. 45 seconds on the clock. Not a lot of time here for Kansas to work with, and a lot of utility. They still need to clear. Houston just need to stand tall, withhold from this pressure of the attack.
I love Caterpillar's position, too. I mean, set up so well. 30 seconds to go. Kansas State love cutting it close. We're going to set some things on fire. Lobo's going to go for the clearance now. Coverage towards their right side. They'll be able to walk in. Sneaky, once again, the Crocs walking 2 for 2 here. Gotta make sure to not shoot your teammate, but nobody checks the left side. Vance has got them both double kill, and it's all down just like that as Simple burns them to death.
What a chaotic round to start things here off in console, and if that's how every round here is going to be on the second map, I am more than excited for what has yet to come. But again, I mean, it's the same thing for both teams, but Houston does it a lot better of just not really moving unless they have to. And this is a problem that I even see at a tier 2 level, which is like right below pro, of teams on the defense when they don't need to move and it's just the attack sitting on the windows, just waiting for them to walk into crossfires. They move too much, but Houston, this maturity and understanding that unless they are being forced out of their extension, of the position of the map that they're holding, they don't need to move. They can just stand there until Kansas forces a fight. And if your name is Vans, you're ready for that fight.
I mean, how many times is Vans going to be given a clutch scenario and step up? 26 kills across the 2 maps already. We are only 1 round in. This map number 2. Houston, if they can work off that confidence, especially if they can get Vans going, I mean, why not? Switch them up. Putting on something even more deadly here in this round. Gotta wonder, what does Kansas State do to stop that? Because you already said it's a defender-sided map, and if Vans can continue to rile up, I mean, Tachanka is what they're bringing into this round.
Again, I like the utility being brought out from Kansas. So the timing last round with the utility was really good. They just didn't clear enough of the defender utility. That was the problem. Is when they hit that site, you even talked about the last player to die, died to that Goyo fire that they just didn't clear out until the last 15 seconds. So I think that's something that they have to be a lot more careful of, but something they don't really have control of is those Tachanka fires. 20 of them in the pocket of Vance. That's not something that you can just shoot or destroy with a grenade. The more and the longer that Vans lives throughout this round, the more value he gets from those fires on his launcher. Speaking about value, Simple trying to find value in this shotgun on his hip. Just creeping around on this top floor. There's a player inside a bathroom. He doesn't have 100% info that this Capitao is here, but he's patient. Not trying to overextend his hand, overexpose his position. He's waiting yet again for Kansas to make that first move.
Give him a little bit of privacy in the bathroom, especially. Bring a shotgun to the bathroom fight. That's kind of a little bit mean. Houston, this defensive side still hasn't lost a player in this round. Their phones will be ringing just a little bit. They won't be able to pick up, though. Kansas State working off the information, slowing them down. C4 goes in, not going to get a kill, but will destroy some of that upward thrust in terms of the floorboarding. So once again, Kansas State just has not a lot of space to go for. And now, like you said, those Tachanka fires are going to get activated.
I mean, Simple just still, they're not aware of his position upstairs. That's not a down? Oh, really? And then he disconnects. Oh, no. Oh, that is absolutely tragic. But good enough for Houston is this attack from Kansas is so slow. 50 seconds on the mark. They get a technical opening kill. They still haven't opened up that hatch. They can only enter from this breach. in the doorway. But again, the fires from Vans are getting so much value of just denying the space from Kansas.
There's 13 of them left to go as well. 30 seconds now. Houston Red, this defensive side, they might have lost the first player to disconnect, but the rest are set up so well. I mean, this crossfire is so dastardly. Mushy Caterpillar, as well as watching the opening through, will see a player that information gain. 20 seconds left to go. Vance is burning down. Finally pulls out the big mag, but Sneaky's the one to take him down. Zenzo's got a headshot. And already Houston Red, 2 players. Mushy, no good for the headshot. And now just needs to deny that diffuser. They're looking for the kills. Can Mushy stay alive? The diffuser is down. Mushy gets 1, trying to swing back in. But there are 4 players you've got to take down in this setup. And they are all looking for your dome. They know where you are is the even worse part. And Bobo's got the headshot. Kansas State gets their round.
I mean, it's just a round defined by tragedy. I mean, it is terrible. Oh, we're gonna have to rehost. It's okay. We've only had one throughout 2 maps, so it's not horrible.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, too, there's a very different scenario where if he stays in the game, he gets that kill, especially downstairs, and stays in the game, maybe more defendable. But at the same time, really good delay, even though they didn't win that round. Keeping Vans alive for so long, keeping that push, keeping the fires going, and then just some lost 1v1 duels to wrap up the round.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a thing, even going to the Cade, it just getting the kill onto the breach, missing a couple of shots, didn't have the C4 in the pocket. The Tachanka firing himself, if he doesn't do that, he could have won the round the entirety on his own just with that utility. So again, I think it's, I talked about the mistakes the first round. I probably jinxed them a little bit because that was probably mistake after mistake, tragedy after tragedy, and it's just bad. Again, it's just one of those rounds we can chalk it up. It's like, it was horrible, but we move on. We go next. They didn't have a lot of that in the first map. I don't think they'll have a lot of it here on Consulate.
And it's also so tough when you lose a player mid-round that was, again, so pivotal to that defensive structure. Then you've got to adapt to it. Then you kind of get in your own head. So there's jinxes all around. Like you said, mistakes on that end. We were talking about no technical difficulties, and we got to go right back into a rehost for these 2 teams. And now you get set up into a 1-1. For Houston, leaving any more than 1 on the table, like you said, is already too much. Giving 2 rounds to the attackers is already too much. But the possibility is there for Kansas State with how they're playing to get even more than 2 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, on top of it, losing that round on Garage of all the things. I mean, maybe if it's an Archives or a Piano, that's fine. Those are 2 bomb sites that aren't necessarily difficult to defend, but it's easier for the attack to work around it. But again, it's just 1 round. Again, I think the defense should continue to go. But at the same time, this is Kansas's map pick. I do expect them to potentially get at least 3 rounds. They understand picking this map that they're going to be starting on attack. So in theory, they should have a decent game plan to get a couple of more rounds than the average.
That's hopeful. I mean, especially because they're down in the series. Had they won that last overtime round, could be talking about a much different story right now of a possible sweep. But they look like they're in control. They have a lot better strategies, especially going into those final 30-second hits. And playing together is one of those better things. When we go to some of the analyzation of some of their attacking rounds back in map number 1, where they took so long, ended up that they had 2 players separate out on an island at multiple times. It looks like they're more cohesive and playing together as a full 5 bunch.
Honestly, I think that's something that the defense can read into, because in that last round, aside from the Vigil, there wasn't necessarily a really heavy hold. There wasn't anything from Houston that was trying to deny as much time from Kansas. So I think it's kind of a sense where if you just have a couple of players, exactly how you played Chalet, of having 2 to 3 players away from the bomb site, having utility to back them up. We even saw that in the very first round on the top floor. If you do that on other bomb sites, Kansas, it's going to be really hard for them to get to that execution phase and do it comfortably.
We'll see. We've got the rehost. Is now back 1-1. Kansas State will try and once again continue to build up on their already nice attacking half. But for Houston, those adaptations have to come quick. We once again said that for Vans, you're not going to have a 20-kill setup every single map. But Vans has been so critical, and not only those late clutch scenarios, but also being able to provide them so much time. With those mid-round frags in map number 1, Vans was able to deliver them time after time after time again to put Kansas State into an awkward scenario.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and I think awkward is the perfect word. I mean, I think both of
5
these
seconds
teams,
to
if they can
insertion.
put each other in awkward positions, I mean, we just saw in the last round, a lot of those
Attackers are
mistakes
moving to defuse
did
the
come off
bomb.
of awkward positions. I mean, continuously swinging that Cade didn't have a C4 in his pocket, so he had to play aggressive. Van's missing a couple of those Goyo fires, or Tachanka fires, rather. So I think if you can just, put a lot of pressure, make these players kind of, tremble in their boots, stress a little bit, they're going to make these mistakes. I think that's something that both teams can do. It doesn't matter if they're in attack and defense. Just try your best to force these mistakes.
Actually, this point in the series and this late at night, definitely those off-meta plays can sometimes do that as well for Kansas State. Working this time once again. Heavy-handed offense. They're going to have to deal with all those fires. Goyo and Tachanka set up and ready to go. They've also got the Cade, who was banned away in that first map, but not here in map number 2.
A lot of individual clearing here from Kansas. Houston saying to themselves, going to the exact same bomb site, that we liked how we approached it last time. Just a lot of things that weren't in our control. Other mistakes that we can easily fix. A lot of C4s in their pockets, too. Or actually just one. But you got 4 impacts with Kai and Doug. There's a lot of explosive utility you can use in that late round. The Tachanka's still back on the board. This is a really good round, but you have to also make sure that you don't waste that utility very early on.
If you burn it, you won't have for those late round setups. I mean, for Kansas State, you talk about their utility. Capitao brings them those hard breach charges that could be ever important. Break in some of the harder spots to go. Especially at this type of site. Not much time left to go. Entering a minute, they're going to break through the hatch and use one of those 2 hard breach charges to do so. They bust open the chair and bust open some of the floorboarding. Once again, Kansas State doing their due diligence at angles.
Oh my god, that's a really good box out on Vans. They can get the ISO on him. They can get the read that he's inside of yellow completely cut off. If you hold him on the hatch, Poe with a nice kill on a simple, trying to go for that late round flank. He's going to be punished for it. Doug on spiral stairs trying to do exactly the same. They got 2 players. Vans has to be very careful. But he makes it out. Nobody watching him on that hatch, and he's able to get away.
Zenzo from above. Kansas State once again limited on time.
Oh.
Seeing just a foot of space there, but not able to get that kill. They need to pull the trigger. Meow has got the diffuser ready to go, and they've got Vans. Dies to their own fire. And will burn now as the rest of the team watches on. A 3v5 still. Oh, the only one really low. They're going to wait for their moment. Guy gets a headshot. Diffuser drops. Sneaky gets in, but his survivability, Doug the Dog has got another. And Kansas State is out of time. They're out of a round, but somehow Houston just finds every kill to follow it up as well.
I mean, again, it's exactly what I talked about before. If you're Houston, if you can get Kansas to waste as much time as possible, 10 seconds when they go for that execution, you don't have a lot of info, you didn't clear out those spaces, good enough. You had that Tachanka, he said, you know what, I'll do that. I'll donate a kill for you. I'll fire myself. I'll give you guys a freebie just because I'm feeling nice today. But, I mean, you can see they're dropping down the hatches. They're, moving around very frantically. They don't know exactly where everybody is. The Buck trying to get that plant down on breach didn't even have enough time. Especially under the attack. If you can force them into these very uncomfortable positions, a lot of the time they scramble and they fail to do the simple task, like getting a bomb down. Third bands come out, so Habana and a Goyo immediately reading into the past couple of rounds. That Habana just easily getting the wall, now tripling up on that hard breach ban, and the Goyo has continuously denied space and wasted time on the Kansas. So, I mean, honestly, both operators that I think, sure, it's going to help out Kansas, but at the same time, it's going to be an absolute headache to get these walls open now.
Yeah, I mean, especially it gets tougher, too, with the selection of crossfires, because of Houston Red working together. Again, it's a team game for a reason, and they are playing it like one, playing together towards the bitter end. And it was nice that they were able to pick up those ending kills as well. Doug the Dog, good finalization after the reset. yet to die so far for Kansas State. They move into round number 4 with looks to try and change things up. O is once again going to bring back that Capitao. Those big hard breaches, I mean, they can be everything. Used them mainly to attack the hatches last time. We'll see where they go this time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same utility again. I'm like a repeating record. I mean, Kansas, they bring the perfect utility, especially for the game plan they're going for. But they're just not able to time it. They're not able to use it perfectly. Good thing, though, one thing I like is bringing that Flores. Just sit in a spot far away, drive your drone. You can get rid of a lot of this utility. You can get rid of those castle barricades, get rid of those Maluzis. And again, if you can use that efficiently, you're going to prevent a lot of that time-wasting utility. Kai being lit up all the way from tellers on that open hatch. A really nice spot there for Kansas and Houston. You're going to really respect this attack, and you must need, because Sneaky, he finds the opening on Devans, shuts him down for the 3rd round in a row.
You've got so much long range in such an open map. And you talk about bringing the Flores. One of the bonuses is you also get that SR-25, that marksman rifle, put on Meow, who has historically had a really good series and really good duels, especially at long range. So when it comes down to it, for Houston, they've got to win some of their 1v1s now. And without Vans, without your star MVP from that last map, what is one to do?
Kai's in a really nice spot here. If they don't drone him out, he could do a lot of damage here. Still 2 Flores drones in the pocket of Meow. Got a nade in the pocket of your Gridlock, so you can flush him out. The main question here is, does Kansas know that he's even there?
Enzo's dead. Doug the Dog, 3-0. Bolstered by the position of Kai as well. Trying to get their exec going, but with a minute left to go again. Slow Caterpillar in. Kansas State, they don't have the player advantage. You have a little bit of health advantage. This is just one of those awkward hallways to try and fight through. Sneaky's ready with the nade. Shotgun, destroying utility here. It's down to 40 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. You have to find something. Doug does find Sneaky. Kai on to Bob, but Meow making a really big play. There's still time to work with here.
Vending machines. Those sodas nice and unbullet punctured. One of those for later. Oh, gets the headshot. 2v2. Kansas State has to be careful here. They've got the diffuser down, but you don't want to give them isolated entries. Seeing the headshot there. Just barely on the miss. Goes down to 14 bullets. Pulls out the crossbow. Fires down. Doug is dead. The W's in Meow's name. Trying to stand for the round win. Double kill. Coming through from Kai, and it's isolated 1v1. Interestingly enough, O's got the HP advantage. That diffuse is right out in the open. You'd think just stick it. But then that'll reveal the position. 17 seconds. Where is your opponent? He's going to go for it now. Timing is there. Diffuser's at half. Jumps off of it. Guy's at half health. Will go for the diffuser, and it's a sneak out! O's got the clutch up. Will not be kicked this time. Kansas State, their attack succeeds.
A really good regroup in that 2v3. We're able to get the 1 and then push out those players over by long desk all the way back. And then Kansas reading that positioning time perfectly. Understanding that we have an opportunity to get this plant down. That's a position where a lot of teams will just continue to bait. Wait for a defender to swing. They don't want to take that risk.
Attackers need to locate
Especially
and defuse
in a
as many bombs
2v2, as
they
soon as that
can.
planter's going down, it's essentially a 1v2 for the player covering him. Houston say to themselves that, again, just like in basement, they liked the approach they had. They just made a
Bomb
couple of
located by
mistakes.
attackers.
In their heads, they're thinking to themselves that they can fix that. That's why they're bringing themselves to the same bomb site again. It's a dangerous thing. There's a saying that goes around that you never want to bring your opponents to the same place 2 times back to back, especially with a relatively similar hold. But if you can fix up quite a bit of those micros, play a little bit more aggressive, hold out. I think
10
more
seconds left.
importantly is that 2v3, they have 40 seconds to work with. If you can waste that clock, you can
5
drain it
seconds
down
to
just a
insertion.
little bit more. Houston might put themselves in a better position.
Attackers are moving to defuse a
To
bomb.
see that, because, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Kansas State would love the same result. I mean, they've already got their 2 rounds and have got 2 more chances here in this attacking side to jump on top of it. They need this map win to stay alive in the series, to force a bank number 3, and to try and keep themselves in the win column to start off the spring semester. Division 2 NECC action. Kansas State with a little bit of quickness here.
I think one thing I really love in an adaptation here, I talked about how Houston, they needed to be aggressive. They didn't need to just play in the face, but more importantly, are you kidding me? I mean, you do this entire push, you drone, but you don't account for Vans. Yet again, an opening, 2 kills. You get probably the 2 most pivotal players to hold that vertical. Sneaky, are you just going to pull the trigger? Are you just going to go right into the bomb site? You have to be very careful here. Being backed up by the Grim. And one player that's about to meet them. Now rotating over for a couple of those candles to blind the player, but they're just going for it.
Here we go. Send it. Why not? There's a nice kill from Doug the Dog to burn down the first, and with a nice pistol shot from Zenzo, it at least gets something back. That's just a 1v1. Now a trade-off here. Throwing in the utility, trying to get some of those blinds going, and just gonna jump in. Looks the wrong way, loses the 50, but somehow stays alive. Meow jumping them! Gets the kill, and kills themselves, or kills their teammate, rather. And it's still just 1. It's all down to Zenzo, who is left outside, B's in hand. We'll try and do what they can.
I'm begging Zenzo, don't bait here. You got a minute. There's plenty of time to work with. Just walk your way around the map. That's exactly what he's doing. I really like this maturity out of this player. A 1v3. 50 seconds left now on the board. He has to move quick. Well, he does have a decent time to move around with. As soon as he gets into the gunfight, that's when Kansas, or rather Houston's going to start to really try and waste that time. Force him into gunfights that he doesn't want to go into.
It's a 2-person peak, though. Not a gunfight I'd want to go into. But hey, full HP. You never know. Bees are out, forces 1 forward, and Doug the Dog just finds the headshot, finds the cleanup. Houston, it started with the early takedown on the double kill. But again, everybody making their voices heard.
Yeah, a little bit of struggle in an adaptation there from both teams. Houston trying to play a lot more aggressive. Kansas going for a complete turnaround. Instead of doing an office over, they said, you know what, we're just going to take that vertical, play from a below, apply pressure from below with that Nomad and Buck over inside of Piano. They just didn't drone. I mean, it's not even they didn't drone the hatch. They just didn't even look at the hatch, and Vans took advantage. And that's something that if you don't account for those small but pivotal positions, a lot of the time Vans is going to be there. Even though he's struggled throughout this first map so far, he's continuously put himself in those positions around the map that he needs to hold to win the round. And I think that's really good that he trusts himself, even with, you know, a little bit of a stumble here on map 2, that he's still trying to put himself in winning positions to help his team.
10 seconds remaining.
And I mean, the confidence is not just a one-way street, too. You talk about confidence in himself. The team also has a lot of confidence in Vans, and you can tell kind of playing around that late-round synergy. What looked really bad at the start for Houston could become a 4-2, and that would be an acceptable first half, especially considering this is Kansas State JVZ's map pick. And they are the ones that need to force the issue. They are the ones that have to win this map where the series is over. So Houston, I don't think in the most uncomfortable spot, but if they lose this round, it'll definitely be more sore towards that way.
Kansas State so far, they've been very isolated in a sense where they've been having players that can work around with themselves. I mean, bringing in a player like Meow with a lot of utility, the flashes to clear space. He also has those can openers and open the walls. A Dokubi to drone yourself in, get a bit of info with those calls. A lot of ability to just work around yourself so each player can try and take as much space quickly as possible.
The astronauts here. One on the spacesuit. 2 minutes left to go. Phones are ringing, and a headshot rings out as well. Zenzo gets that first blood, and Doug the Dog has been so good, especially 6-2 since the reset. And really, really good on those long-range fireballs. The question now being, I mean, still tons of time, but Kansas State pretty much has this entire floor to work for.
Yeah, those nomad jabs are going to be a real pain in the side of Simple. He theoretically should have heard that first one go down. So I think he is aware that he's not going to be able to go for the flank over here. It doesn't even matter. The entirety of Kansas have evacuated that second floor now, just starting to work this vertical inside of Piano and Showcase. And again, still an opportunity for Simple, but he has to be very careful. He has to time this correctly because Kansas, they're very aware that there could possibly be someone here. And that theory is correct.
Spidey senses are tingling, but Vans is going to be tickling the dome of Bobo. Able to take the first down, and now Simple. You talk about the timing. Yet to get a kill since the reset. That could all change right here. They know they are there now as a confirmation from the bullets. And Vans, another bit of damage taken. They're down to about 2/3. Once again, bones will be rang here. And extra information to play with, 30 seconds to go.
It doesn't even matter if Simple doesn't get the kill. If he just continues to waste time, that's all he needs to do. But with the kill onto Vans, it's going to make this position even more important and pivotal. He cannot lose his life.
Caterpillar awaits the entry. Shots are good. Meow's down to about a 4th. Trying to rebait it. Has to hit the reload. 10 seconds to go here. Kansas State has taken their sweet time. Diffuser is down. Or is it? Meow is going to delay it. Has to reset it. Simple gets the kill on POH. And the defuse plant. The headshot is there. And the timing is just not enough. Really, really good kills coming down. They finally get it. It is a 1v2, but look at the health bars. I mean, Meow and Snaky, not what you'd like to see. Barely gets it on the 000 timing. And now Simple has some work to do.
No idea where these last two players are. The only thing working his favor is they're both so low in health, but as that timer for the diffuser continues to clock down, it gets even more dangerous.
Gotta basically just full run at him here. Health bars might be low, but it's bodies. 2 bodies that hold them out, and they'll crossfire connect. Sneaky finds another to wrap up the round, and Kansas State finishes half number 1 at 3.
I talked about that. Kansas going into this map understanding that they would have to start on the attack. In theory, they should have brought a good attacking plan, and that's exactly what they did. Sure, you're saying to yourself, 3-3? What's time? It's not them winning. The fact that they just got that extra third round is huge. And now it's up to Houston to do the exact same, because if you get the bare minimum of a 2-4 half, you're going on your way to our decider of bank. You have to get 3 rounds here from Houston. And their attack was not terrible on Chalet, but it was not good enough for what they need here on Consulate.
It's got to be better. We head on into the ban phase, and I mean, how about that timing? 2.5, got that diffuser down, made sure that they could get it going, and then, I mean, a duo work for Kansas State. Something that has been rare, especially on their attacking side, was to work together in those late rounds and finding a good piece. Now they jump to the defensive. Bans are pretty much what you'd expect.
Yeah, again, it's kind of a thing where we're not seeing many curveballs here. I think the Flores is a fantastic read. The Ying, just a no-brainer. And then the Mirror and a zombie. Again, I think these bans, the double bans to start things off, kind of follow a theme. Either you do the double extension ban with the Mira and the Azami, or you do the double utility ban. Sometimes you want to do a double hard breach ban like Houston did on their defensive map 1 of Chalet. But again, I really like that these bans, they have emphasis. They have an idea and plan behind them. They're just not being thrown out of nowhere.
And especially in map number 2,
5 seconds left.
that feels ever important. For these two teams to have a game plan this late at night, you assume they've been scrimming for a while before. And for Kansas State, a must-win map that they're looking very good on. They've got a good lead going into half, but things could still fall down, and especially if Vans. We talked about activating Vans. Why not put them on something that can do so much of the damage, that can lead the entirety of the charge, and especially for Houston, that they can play around.
Yeah, we didn't see too many shields come out from Kansas on their attack. Houston already putting Kai back on the Blackbeard, something that he continuously played on map 1 didn't have too much success. I'm still a little bit curious on exactly how much utility Kai can get out of this very powerful operator. Don't get me wrong, he's a very meta operator that's very individually capable. You don't need a lot of utility or players to play around him. He has 2 nades. He can do a lot on his own, but it's simple. He's doing a lot over by Yellow Stairs, completely clearing it out. I also clearing out this space over by Break, and nobody in there. A minute into the round, and the defense already giving up a lot of map control. This is really good for Houston. Already getting a lot of comfortability and info on top of it.
And even some damage. I mean, Bobo down to about half their HP left to go. This Twitch is just on a fury to destroy everything in their path. So the barbed wire going to be the cost as well. And those Selma Breachers still has 3 of them in the inventory for Vans is yet to use them. Just seeing a bit of the elbow there sneak out. So POH is going to have information, but Houston just has so much time to work out the information they have.
Oh, Caterpillar catching one onto Xenox. Is he able to get the player onto Sodas? No, he's not. A double up for Kansas. It's Houston Red in a 3v4. Make that a 2v4. Just Kai and Doug the dog. Minute on the board. Case not in their control. What can they do here?
I guess just play off the shield. Kai, well, there goes your shield. Double kill. Sneaky deaky. Kansas State. Such control here. Doug the dog is going to have to do it all. There's some low health bars and definitely some damage coming in. And Poe is going to find the double kill, the headshot, and the round cleanser for Survive. And Kansas State with a statement. First round victory to start out defense.
Yeah, really good start for Kansas. I mean, Houston, they had a good setup in that early round. Kansas gave them a lot of map control. They even got that first opening kill over by Long Desk. But, I mean, it was just the utility and the positioning directly on the bomb site that Houston was not able to crack. And honestly, on top of that, a lot of those engagements from Houston were individual. It was a player making a really deep swing with no support, whether it be a player behind him or utility to back it up. And the crossfires that were set up for Kansas just ate it up. Continuously, Houston just feeding the turret. And it's kind of something that you have to be very cautious here. There's a lot of positions where you can set up like a 2 to 3 man crossfire, where you have a couple of defenders holding one position, and they just unload their mags as soon as they see someone. So that's why it's called a turret position. That's something that you have to be careful of, and that's Houston just continuously. I mean, just position after position, player after player, just walking into it. They have to be very self-aware.
5 seconds left.
You've got to talk it out with each other, too. I mean, Bobo in that round, Poe able to find just really, really big picks that it felt like Houston weren't able to relay to the teammates quick enough. Now we get in this next round, round 8. Kansas State already finding themselves into a better position, just 1 round off that attacking side. This is their map pick, but boy, do they look good on it. It feels like, you know, better than anybody. For Houston, they're going to have to find those adaptations, especially coming from this setup shield of Kai on how they want to assault.
A lot of aggressive utility here from Houston. They want to get active. They want to clear space and punish these players who are playing alone. Got the Solus over by Piano, who drops down. Still somebody who's over by Office. I wonder if they've gone down. Vans is tracking that Solus, so they're going to have to play very careful. Just going back down to the bomb site. Not a lot of utility or info off of that. Poe, the player who's playing inside of Offices, just made his way all the way down to lobby. Very flexible. If he hasn't been scanned by a drone just yet, Vans isn't going to be able to track him. With the blitz right in your face, you have to be very careful. I mean, there's a lot of utility. The longer that this round goes on, and Poe, if he is still alive, that's a lot of utility he can get.
Oh, trying to change up jobs, went from the Office straight on down. Guy's dead. Vans gets the headshot, and it's not a death, it's actually just a knock, so they'll get him back up. Kai is still going to be walking away limping from that one. And Houston with still plenty of time to take out the Valkyrie. Although those cams are still going to be in place, always been really exciting to watch towards the end round rotations. Already up to 6 kills after the reset. Bobo takes down Kai, so there goes that shield fully.
That's a really huge kill there in the Bobo. You eventually get that trade back. Caterpillar trying to do work directly onto the site. The entire ceiling has been opened up. So the defense inside of Car Garage has to be very careful where they're playing, especially a player behind Pillar, but there's still so much work to do. Still a roamer on that first floor.
Oh. Just Air Jordan's that one. Sneaky. Let's Kansas State up once again. Defuser unable to get down either, so no point of contention. But Caterpillar, that's a nice take back. Is it 2? Yes, sir. The take back from Vans that sets up their teammate into a 1v2. Doug the Dog is all they've got left. Run at him with a pistol. 20 seconds, no diffuser, and 2 pretty much full health bar players on the other side. Tries to pre-peek it and dies for it. Zenzo, nice cleanup. Kansas State, just pure domination here.
Yeah, it's 2 rounds untraded on the defense, and Houston not looking good. I mean, they had a really good handheld. They had an advantage. They had an ability to put that plan down. But not once in that round did they have a consistent idea on that roam that Kansas had. Just, you know, prop, just player. Valkyrie all the way over by Piano. You also had a Vigil roaming over by Tellers.
Attackers
They
need to
didn't know that
locate and
Vigil
defuse
was
bomb.
even roaming until he got that kill and made it a 1v2. And that's something that you absolutely cannot have as an attacking team. Good thing, though, for Houston Red, that they go into Piano. This is technically a bomb site that does favor the attack more than top, like a Tellers. All the way down in basement that we just saw. But again, you don't need just 2
Attackers have
rounds.
discovered the
Houston
location of a bomb.
needs 3 at least. 4 if they want to win in regulation, but after looking at those 2 rounds, it doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, I mean, overtime
10 seconds to
as a
go.
guarantee would be awesome for Kansas State already right here. But
5
this
seconds
is
left.
a good map, and honestly, it'll be interesting to see how things adapt through the
Attackers are
season.
moving to
Because
defuse a bomb.
once you get on stream and once it reveals that, okay, maybe Consulate is their best map pick, and maybe, I know nobody knows Fortress right now, but if you know as little as the opponent does, maybe you pick it over something if Kansas State is this good on Consulate. There's still more rounds to play, and for Houston Red, more time to adapt. And I think they won map number 1 by just a sliver, just a single round. So getting some confidence if it does go map number 3, they want to get especially a player like Vans back onto something where they feel good going into that final map.
A lot of utility to deny space yet again from Kansas, but I really like the Wamai. We've continuously seen both teams, but I think Kansas has used this Wamai perfectly. It's not going to stop those Grim Bees from Simple, but it's going to displace them a little bit, allow for Wamai to continue to play here, who's completely isolated. He has to be very careful. He reads the position on to Caterpillar. That's the opening pick for the defensive canvas. Sneaky with another one on to Vans. That's a huge pick. No trade back, a 3v5 just a minute into the round. Houston, it's starting to unravel. It's starting to fall apart.
And part of that is Sneaky is having a heck of a map. 9-4 already, leading the charge as this Valk. And Kansas State just feels like this is their map, and Houston Red is just trying to set up shop. They don't have the correct permits to do so. Phones are going to ring again here. Kai's going to try and do something with the information. But at this point, you've lost so much of your front line. Not only the Monty, but those Thermite entries as well. Make it really tough to get that hard breach to get into some of the lower portions of this site.
They still have to clear this top floor. I believe there's a player over by Long Hallway. They're aware of him, but they don't have any information. This is something that's been plaguing this attack so far. Even if they're able to get that kill, they have to work around all the utility. They have to just try to force a plant down. Try to put it down and pray that it goes, but Poe takes down Doug, the dog that can't even get a kill onto the vert, and it continues to get worse.
The time isn't there either. I mean, Simple still has the diffuser. Just one barely a silver lining the ugly picture that resides in the middle. Kansas State, overall control. And the only person who's even taken a lick of damage is Bo. And Bo finds one and finds the double. Flawless rounds off the headshot.
tough scenes here for Houston Red, but Kansas, after losing the very first map just by a round, just slipping through their fingers, yet again they have an opportunity to get a map, to send us on to the decider of bank. But Houston, after this third map, or this third ban phase for the operator, they have to go flawless. I talked about how they need at least 3. Now they got to do that back to back 3 in a row, like the early 2000 Lakers. But I don't know if they have it in them, especially how these couple of rounds have gone. They don't even have an idea of where these defenders are playing. You can really tell when an attacking team doesn't have a great idea of what the defense is doing from the first minute. If they're not able to at least get some control within that minute, that's a big glaring sign that they don't really have a good idea of what's going on. So,
Attackers need to locate
no
and
timeout
defuse
being
bombs.
taken. Still could be off the board. Will my with it again? There isn't really one operator. There isn't one play style or one strat that can really fix this for Houston. They just have to read what's in front of them, or rather, even get the ability to read that itself.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Something to go their way. And I mean, the tougher part is, again, because the map is so open, one single slip is so costly. It allows the defense to re-expand into an area, and then when they contract, by the time they do, it's too late. So Houston
10 seconds left.
needs to find answers here, or like you said, it'll be going to that map number 3. And
5 seconds
hey,
to insert.
that's what I want. I would love to see more Rainbow Six here into the wee hours of the night. The players not so much, but Kansas State, they've got no choice. Win or go home here on this second map. It's looking more and more like a win as the rounds continue to go.
Houston Red, you just gotta, I think getting that opening pick is the most important part. Trying to find an isolated player, that's something that Kansas loves to do on this defense, is have somebody on that roam completely unprotected and unsupported, and that's something that Houston can try and seek out, but I don't think that they're going to do that this round. There's no Jokobi that's being brought off the board, not bringing a Deimos to make up for it. So it looks like they're just going to try to find a way to execute on this top floor. More than looks like they're going to try to just go for that single window. They got the Claymores on the windows down below. They got that Thatcher I talked about all the way on map 1. That you can deny a C4, but you need to more importantly deny a player swinging onto this default plan.
Neither round. That as well. Houston set up with some destruction here. Simple, a large part of what is going to strike in this defense. And for Bobo, talk about the shotgun. Devastating it can be. One look, one take is all it needs. Doug the dog continues to lob in some of those flammables. Continue to fire with that crossbows. They're going to go for the entry here. Some of the spikes are laid, and a nice early headshot from Simple. That's a great opener.
That's exactly what you need. But here's Bobo retaking the space. Vans is getting that plant down. What can you do? The warden gets the kill on to Simple. The smokes go out, but the diffuser also goes down with it. A 4v4, 40 seconds, and Meow's able to get one.
Much safer play, though. They escape out the window. And now it's Kansas State that has to retake that space. Bobo is just searching. Why not? Looking outside with that shotgun. Mushy Caterpillar's on the watch. They've got the diffuser found, but a nice takedown. The laid down mine is good. 15 seconds now. Finally, just trying to blind them out. Double kill. Make it even more. Mushy Caterpillar adds on top. And Vans has got the spike kill. Houston, well done.
After 3 rounds unanswered, Houston's finally able to stop the bleeding for now. They're able to get a very quick, fast round. Took Kansas State off guard, but I don't want to call it a one-trick round, but you're going to need a lot more than just rushing to the bomb site and getting that timing correctly. I mean, if you just had one player playing the vertical down below, I mean, it's all kind of wraps. 1 C4.
Right.
That's the round over. That's the map over.
Defenders
Even.
protect
Now you go
your
down to
bombs from being
basement.
defused by attackers.
Really good read there from Kansas. Again, I talked about how it's dangerous allowing your opponents to go to the same bomb site back to back. And especially if you're running a very similar setup and line up with your operators, it's very dangerous. I think that's the one thing that you cannot give
Attackers have
Houston. You
located a
can't give
bomb.
them easy reads. You can't give them consistency. You want to consistently change things up for them so they have a harder time predicting and reading into the round.
That's important
10 seconds to
because you
insertion.
talk about confusion as an overall concept for Houston. They
5
felt it a
seconds to
lot.
go.
It feels like in this map specifically, and Kansas State has caused that. Some of their lurking players sneaking, having a great map 9 and 5, but it continues here into this one. And for Houston, there's a lot on the line, but if they can win this round, it feels somewhat more doable that they can get it to overtime, that they can put themselves in a similar position that they did in map number 1. That being said, though, Kansas State, another good setup. They've got the Valkyrie, they've got the Cade. It feels like they have so many tools to limit what Houston wants to do.
I haven't seen a lot of use, minus this DMR from the Thatcher. But in all fairness, there hasn't really been a lot of utility aside from just getting these walls open. I don't think that wall was reinforced. We didn't really need the Thatcher. Oh no, it was reinforced. There was nothing else. That's gonna be easy. But again, getting these walls, these simple, dirty work positions, rather, it's been kind of an easy factor. I like this push here from Houston. This is something they haven't done against Kansas. A lot of this roam, a lot of this defender positioning, 3 players on this top floor. If Houston Red read into this, they could hit the site essentially in a 5v2 if they're quick enough.
Ooh, it might just. Looks like Simple wants some action down here as well. For the fire extinguisher. Oh, sees one. Good shot. Meow down to half. Will he re-peek it? Looks like not. Simple gonna reset as well. Kansas State need to get reinforced positions here. As you mentioned, Houston Red is just ready to go. Ripping at the factor that they could hit it right here, right now. 90 seconds to go. A ton of time. A delayed reaction. Good shots out of Poe as well. Both of them are injured. Meow and Poe have got to deal with this with very minimal HP.
They even got the Vigil upstairs taking in a couple of shots, and that's also going to relay that they're here. Here comes Bobo down the stairs. Kind of a fork in the middle of the road here, but that Nomad jab is going to alert the attack, but they push themselves all the way right outside the bomb site.
Just inches away. They can taste it. A round win would be awesome, and a nice takedown from Bobo from behind. Simple's got their back covered, and now they need to activate. A player up, health up as well. They've got really every angle covered, but those entry damage is good. Vance gets a nice trade. Caterpillar's got another, and Kansas State is down to just 2. Pistols out from Sneaky. It's not enough to get the kill. Vance doubles, and it's all down to 1 man. Kansas State on the cusp of losing another round and giving Houston a chance to power back in this one.
30 seconds on the clock, a 1v3. It is possible, but not plausible. What can you do? Can you work a miracle here? No, you can't. Caterpillar holding that angle, locking it down. He's going to finish it out. Kansas taking their time out as we're now seeing Houston working a comeback here. 2 rounds in a row, just 1 round from sending us into overtime, and I'm honestly seeing the vision.
I mean, I love it. The way they're playing with speed, hitting together, and being able to work off of Vans, who has found a late resurgence here. 8 and 7, definitely not the 24 kills they earned in map number 1, but it sure was good. I mean, watching the backside for Simple there, having all of their bases covered, and now Kansas State, it all comes down to this round. Either they win in regulation, or we're going to overtime for the 2nd map in a row. And boy, Kansas State, they started out this defensive half going 3 straight rounds.
Yeah.
It'd be painful to lose 3 straight to go into overtime.
And I will say, you know, I asked a question going into this map, if whether or not the rest of Houston was going to be able to support Vans. He's had a slow game. He's had an uptick these past couple of rounds. But, I mean, players like Simple have been going really huge. Kai has really picked it up here on map 2. Obviously, you know, nothing like too insane or crazy, but they are consistently fighting their footing in this matchup, and I think that is really important. Kansas State going back upstairs to this office and meeting bomb site. Kind of a situation where Houston, you're seeing this easy opportunity. You can go for that plan inside of B. Last time it was very successful. You had a very clean post plant once you got that bomb down. At the same time, this is something that Kansas is expecting. They're bringing, I mean, a lot of utility. A C4 in the pocket of Sneaky. You even got that Warden and the Tachanka. There's a lot of
10
utility
seconds
to
to go.
deny that position specifically. So Houston, they're gonna have to change something up
5
here.
seconds remaining.
They're 1 round away. I mean, this would be
Attacker's
heartbreaking.
objective is to defuse the bomb.
Way to send it to map number
Yeah.
3. If you lose right now, after all that work, the mental will still be there because you won map number 1. You've had this safety net. That safety net could be cut right here. I'm interested to see for Bobo and Sneaky what they can get done here in this round. Meow is going to go to the Tachanka. See if they can do some shenanigans with the Goyo-Tachanka combo, as they've got a lot of space to do so.
Simple just holding the line of sight. Ooh, no, isn't careful. Gonna hold back just for now. A really good read there, getting that single wall open. The opening kill for Kai, fantastic for him. That's that Goyo off the board. Not gonna have that gun, but those Goyo canisters around the map are still going to be able to be set in stone. They'll shoot those, get use out of those later in the round. A really good start here for Houston.
Now it's within the first minute. Really, really good start. Especially considering nothing for the trade. No damage, not too much wasted. Gonna rotate around for a different look here. The scaffolding side, see if they can go up and enter. Do wonder for Meow how much longer they can survive if they stay on that angle. Talk about it for Simple. Inside with a twitch. Ow. A little bit of a Zapski. Kansas State, 90 seconds to try and play this defense.
No immediate trade, but here comes a play from Simple. Trying to spot a gap. He spots the end of the gun of Meow. But Meow know better here. Shoots a couple to fire. Doesn't reach close enough to hold off Simple. Van's also down below trying to find a player that isn't here. A little bit of schizophrenic, but actually, no, I stand corrected. There was a player in that corner. A fantastic read there by Houston. 50 seconds, Kansas. They got to get something back. They got to slow down this attack or they're going to get completely ran over.
I mean, a 5v3 already. Trying to do what they can as Bobo from the top of Spiral. The top rope like a WWE wrestler. Trying to bring it in here. For Houston, they've got the player advantage, but they got to take it carefully. Bo's got the headshot. A big MVP. Vans is dead. From the top rope, it's Bobo. Headshot is there. Diffuser is dropped, and Mushy is just lying on the ground, bleeding out. A double kill from Bobo. Makes things much more complicated now. They've got to attack Spiral. They've got to find themselves the diffuser. And Poe's got the headshot. A double kill from both Bobo and Poe. And Kai is left all to their lonesome. They'll get at least a headshot back. Double kill, but they aren't going to force it. They're just going to let time expire. Kansas State, they do enough. The defense is successful. And we're going to map 3.
I mean, what looked like overtime, a 5v3, a really good position, but a huge play there by Poe, also the Jaeger. I mean, just fantastic. 3 kills there in the round to finish things out, sending us onto map 3, our decider of Bank. I mean, we could not have asked for a closer match to start things off of the spring semester.
I mean, I would have loved some overtime, but hey, we'll take a 5-7 as a little bit of a consolation. And man, although Sneaky earns the MVP for the overall map, that Bobo clutch in the end, I mean, so many of those double kills converting into rounds and being able to control the top of Spiral there, disallowing them to go. I mean, Goose just one more map to go. And, you know, for Bank, it's kind of interesting where we go to. It's the decider, but for these two teams, it's also what's going to decide who gets their first win of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about the, theme of both maps was, whether you can get the consistent attacks, but going on to Bank, it's kind of, up in the air. Historically in recent terms, it's been nearly 50-50 for both sides. So going into this last map, it is really hard to read. I mean, there's no definitive, tone, no definitive answer. I can't really give one to either team. I mean, this is the definition of very even-ended here.
And the thing is, nobody's going to remember who lost this map. You're just going to see 0-1 or 1-0, that's where your record will go. We're going to find out a victor in map number 3. Before we do, just a short little break. Don't go too far. NECC will be right back. Welcome back. NECC Spring in its starter session here, just week number 1. And boy, we are going to a map number 3, a banger, as the first series we get to witness. Houston just unable to wrap the job up. It goes the full 12 of regulation, but they just could not get enough. LIama and Goose still up here. Let's take a look at the maps and how we've gone throughout the series. Goose, it's going to just one more, the decider of Bank.
Yeah, both teams winning their own map picks, both in their own sense, very close. Obviously, map 1, the closest it could possibly get, a huge clutch in the last round of Consulate. And again, as I spoke about before break, going on to Bank, there isn't a consistent theme. There isn't a consistent side that has been winning. It does not fully 50-50, but it does tend to favor both sides very reasonably.
And it's about execution at this point. I mean, we talked about it. In terms of Eastern Standard Time, we're almost about to hit midnight, so for some of these players, maybe burning the late midnight oil here to try and take the victory in the series. But all that's in front of you is one map. Again, map differential does matter for some playoff seeding, but realistically, winning this map will put you up 1 win, will start off your spring semester better than half of the other teams in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, especially just going 3 maps, this is a series you want to win. You don't want to go into 1 in the morning on the 3rd map and lose. I mean, going into classes tomorrow, it's going to be a bummer, man. Again, I mean, honestly, I agree with Yao. I'm hyped. I'm excited. This map, not only has it been very long and close, but it's been entertaining. It hasn't been a sluggish map. I was talking to you about that during our break, that, especially the late rounds, it has been really entertaining. And Bank historically, even in the current meta, has always held up as a map that is decided in that last minute. It is almost always coming down to the execution, whether or not the attack can get the bomb down or one of the teams can kill everybody else. And especially with how these teams have been playing, I cannot wait for that last phase of the round.
Like the mirror takeaway, Cade, it's nothing special, but at this point, again, reading into what your opponents are going to pick is going to be ever important. Kansas State starting their defender side. Houston to start on the attacking side here for our final map of this best of 3. Meow asked everybody, are they ready to go? Pretty much everybody was pretty happy to be here in map number 3, except Poe, who said he's hating this and not having fun.
One thing that kind of caught my eye on map 2 was the consistency of Houston putting Vans onto that shield. Almost saw him on that Monty switching up to that buck, and I really like that. I think, not only did he have a hard time, but consistently putting your best fragger onto an operator that does not have a gun, especially an AR on the attack, kind of nerfs him a little bit. Obviously, he can play a lot of roles. You can even see him switching onto the Thermite. He played a lot of support, flexing onto, even some more aggressive operators in map 1. I mean, I just really think you got to get a gun in Van's hand to start things off, and then you can work from there.
I mean, Vans, again, go back to that map 1 performance. 24 kills. Just incredible, some of those extra execute scenarios. And Kansas State is going to have to find a way to shut that down. Going to talk about that one. Pick that one back up and back to it. Some time left on the board for Houston. Again, what they want to do here, especially with the shields, is going to be ever important. What they've seen in rounds in past is where Kai and Vans go in, they have the shield front line, and then that just disappears. You need to make sure it's well-timed, well-oriented, and Kansas State doesn't get any free kills.
Nothing too crazy here. Not a heavy extension from Kansas. And it's really important. You can see that Bobo inside of open, he has that hatch, gonna shoot a drone or 2, maybe gets in a gunfight, but then he just drops down. I mean, you have the smoke, the Goyos, and then 3 of those Echo drones. This is a defensive lineup that is purposely set up to just waste time once they hit the site. They're not too worried about trying to contest in this early round, trying to hold as much map control as possible. They're going to let Kansas do this, set up their rounds, and then rely on this on-site utility to do the work.
Last hard reach charge coming out from Doug the Dog. As you said, that setup all around the map continues to improve as time continues to actually drain down. I wonder for Kansas State, haven't actually taken any sort of bit of damage at the start. But Kai is still alive, and that's so important for Houston going into this late-minute execute. They've got time to get it done. They've got frontline to do it. The problem is, now that they've located bombs, they don't have the space quite yet, encroaching on 60 seconds left.
Open up that right side wall inside of archives, or server rather. We've got Kai on the Monty trying to get that plan down, but again, 3 smokes in the pocket of Meow. 3 of those Wamai, or not Wamai, but Echoes. 50 minutes, I mean, there's plenty of utility. You don't even need to waste time. Oh my god, happy birthday, Rennie.
Also, yeah, Rennie, happy birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Houston, seeing if they can get you a round win for your birthday present. Still yet to plant the diffuser. I taken some chip damage. The State is going to have to answer those cell phones. Nice takedown from Doug. And look at this. Just the crossfire ready to distribute everything. 4v4 diffuser down, but a good takedown from Meow. Those canisters kill.
Really pulled back. Houston trying to play as deep and long as possible. Those Echo drones finally being able to be used. 1 kill from Simple, a 3v3 now. Nobody on the hatch, so this is definitely possible, but you gotta try to start to get some kills.
Oh, he's in a great spot. There's a good spray out. Oh, Sneaky just does it. A triple kill. And they'll find an extra. Meow will take down his teammate as a quadra kill comes through. Kansas State, what a retake. They just are Giga Chad Gaming.
I didn't expect that one, but I'm kind of disappointed. You know, there's not a lot of times where I want a team to win, but I wanted Kansas to win specifically off of that, or actually Houston rather, because going for that plant, I talked about, I really emphasized the Echo. 3 drones in his pocket, but when that plant was going down, Houston pulled out the call from Dokubi. So Echo wouldn't even have the opportunity, giving just enough time for that bomb to go down. Honestly, a perfect counter that I haven't seen. It's a very simple answer, and it worked perfectly, but again, they weren't able to play the post plan after that. For some reason, they weren't able to take control over by open. I think they thought somebody was trying to retake to go for a flank. Nobody from Kansas was there. So a huge missed opportunity there for Houston.
I mean, Sneaky said it best. On bottom blue, nobody checked. And it'll cost you everything. Kansas State with a good start, and this is the decider. But also, again, momentum from that map number 2 to this one. Their ability to win in that last round of regulation, and then take just these close rounds like that one. It's going to mean everything. For Houston, their last map win was back in that map number 1. It was a really close map win. It was 7-6, or 8-7 rather, full distance in that overtime.
And Kansas leaning onto these Echo drones, trying to get as much use as possible. Houston using these DMRs on the window repels. You've got one on Doug. Simple, maybe? I'm not sure. I don't think Bravo actually has one. Vans also has one. Both those DMRs on the Lion and the Twitch. Probably the best DMR that you can have. It is 43 points of damage. Essentially half the health. 2 shots and you're down. Doug trying his best. He knows that there's a player inside of office, but doesn't have a line of sight. Trying to use this nade to potentially push him out if it lands correctly. It does, but he misses the opportunity. But Poe doubles back, and Doug the dog is ready.
Just found some buried treasure there. Digging through. Nice nade combo and forces that turn back. Kansas State down a player, and it's Poe, who has stepped up multiple times in the clutch scenarios, even going back to map number 2. Sneaky. The close range SMG went 4 kills, quadra kill in that first round of this map. The lone death is from a teammate. Yet to die to an opponent quite yet. But staircase control is really good here from Houston if they can continue to push this, which Sneaky makes the moot point. Sneaky dies for it. So 1 for 1 still in favor of Houston, especially with Doug getting a triple kill. I mean, they've got access to offices. They've got access to so much room, and a jumping shot will not go. Vans is too good to let that happen. And Bobo, 1v4 clutch damage good on Muschi. But it's just a cut down to the other side. Bobo's got a double kill.
Gotta be very
Still pull out. Alphars are not too good. They're killing Russia. Kai, gotta time this right. The shield's out and Kai will get it. It took 4 of them, but it's enough.
I mean, almost a 1v3 clutch with a Monty up the board, but Kai, he took it up, he big dogged up, and he got it, and got the very first round for Houston. Honestly, a really good round. I really liked how Houston really abused those long distance angles, especially bringing 2 DMRs on board. Kai using that Monty perfectly. Obviously, he's not consistently in that fragging and kill department. But he sure can play that Monty really well, using him as a threat, as a constant menace. Just his presence looming over this defense, constantly having to have your eye into him. And props to that Jaeger for not completely just tunneling onto the Monty, but then looking for the thermite playing around him, understanding that that was the real main threat. And then you lose the one with the Monty. You lose those. You know, it's a 50-50 gun. You can't always lock those down. But again, I think even with that, a really great round there from the Jaeger, but good recollection there from the Monty on Kai.
That one hurts too from Kansas State. We're so close to that clutch, was almost able to get it done. For Houston, they found their ways in, and I mean, that did essentially become what it was because they had so many of those early round kills and set themselves up into a 4v1 at the beginning of it. So 1-1 is how we look entering round number 3. And interestingly, not too much to change. They'll still bring the Monty on the Houston Reds side. It is that Warden from Bobo that will look to do a ton of damage to them. Jumping through the cameras, trying to gather some information. Kansas State, they've been playing really well to limit Houston so far on a lot of that spacing. But the question is going to come down to, I mean, in this round specifically, can Bobo do a lot of work?
Simple trying to get a lot of information. Also, Van's bringing that Doki. I really like that. Brava being brought last round wasn't able to really find any of those Echo drones. Possibly get a lot of utility with that. Also can control those Aruni gates. Again, it's just up to Kansas to use this utility. That's a problem they've had throughout all 3 maps, even over back on Consulate. Very similar lineup here from Houston, but oh, what can you do? An entry on Doug, the player that killed him last round. He gets his get back. That's all the utility on that Capito gone with it.
How Doug? Nothing's actually become a little bit more interesting. Vans is up the stairs, has assistance from the skylight, just in case things get a little bit too hot. Houston down a player. More importantly, American flag in front of them. Waving. They will wave to their opponents a quick look. Right side beacon, then they'll get back to safety. So back to the roof they go here. Kansas State still with all 5 members alive, and realistically they haven't given a lot of information about where they're located. Houston, though, is starting to close in.
In that wall up. No immediate trade here by Houston, so they're just going to be simply focusing, honing in, getting this plan down inside of CO. Kai completely disconnected from the rest of the team. I'm not exactly sure what the play here is. You got to be very careful. It actually tripled up. It didn't matter, though, because Bobo takes down Simple, makes it a 5v3 for Kansas. Kai on an island, pistol on his hip. What can he do? Not a whole lot. He sees the player. He is able to find Bobo. Eventually, he's able to get the first. Caterpillar backing them up on the hallway, but just runs in. It doesn't see Sneaky.
Sneaky, true to the name, twice already in this map. Incomprehensible blows, a big headshot, and a double kill from Sneaky. Puts Kansas State up +3 here in players. And Kai, all they've got is the lonely pistol to get the job done. Looking for good shots on Sneaky, can't get the left side player. And Meow's got the finish up. Kansas State from start to finish, its domination in the round.
It's a really good answer back there from Kansas. We go into our 3rd ban phase of the map. I talked about, and again, taking yourself to the same bomb site 2 times in a row, especially, honestly, that top CO bomb site is the 3rd choice. It's the 3rd best, or, you know, usually the last choice you want to do. Open, most of the time, is a better option. Taking the Echo and the Monty on the board for the very first time, honestly, I can think after this third ban phase, it is very even.
Yeah.
Both of those operators have been very potent. Monty has been a fantastic operator for Houston to take space. Obviously, they just
Defenders,
switched right
protect
back
your
down to the
bombs from being
Blackbeard.
defused by
But, I
attackers.
mean, I think this is going to be a little bit of a hot take here, but I do think Blackbeard's a much harder shield operator play versus a Monty, especially not having as much of your body.
I don't think so. I don't think that's too hot of a take. Maybe mild to lukewarm at some points, but I mean, with that full body blockage and especially with how much it gave in terms of the space for Houston, it's not necessarily a full different play style, but it's in those 2v2s, you have to play it just a little bit different. And for Kansas State, recognition in the bans,
10
getting
seconds
things
left
done.
before insertion.
We'll have to see if they can go a couple rounds straight here because
5
Houston
seconds
has
left
looked
before
good,
insertion.
but it feels like losing those early members and dropping those duels, especially
Attackers are
someone like
moving to
Sneaky,
defuse the
who
bomb.
continues to be true to the name, finding themselves in random corners of the map is 7-2.
Look at this lineup. See exactly what the plan here is. 3 rounds in a row, you're not bringing that Brava. That Fenrir of mine's gonna really punish Houston Red. It's kind of, you know, the trade you take, you're gonna lose that Echo. You're gonna bring another operator that's gonna slow things down. Sneaky's had a fantastic game also. 7-2. I mean, he's just completely leading the charge here for Kansas. Even giving himself an opportunity to play aggressive, backing up his teammate of Bobo. This time around, you can see, because they don't have that Echo, that extra bit of plant denial and time-wasting ability, that they have to play a little bit more aggressive. They have to play in the face and try to deny more time. But Houston Red taking a lot of control inside of open. That's going to force this defense to retreat rather early.
Who says he's scared, and I would agree. Encroaching on the space down through the stairs. Really flashed out. Pushing in here with some of that fear is going to push Simple away. Sneaky. Gonna rotate back into a better position here as Kai's gonna deal with some of that barbed wire. Gets into the soda machines and we'll realize that most of the server room is ready to be cleared. They see nobody and they're just gonna push with his shield. I like what Kai's doing. They've given themselves a lot of space with still 90 seconds left to go.
Yeah, instead of bringing this shield operator, technically Kai's still a shield operator, it doesn't matter when he's dead. Got domed in the head by the DMR from deep. It's actually simple, rather. So you still have Kai on the board. You can still use this Osa shield, but trying to see, was that upstairs? No. That's the DMR from Poe all the way from garage. That's a really good deep angle yet again. They haven't got, wait, what? Okay, I was about to say, they haven't gotten these hatches open. They're only going to be able to use one. So that happens, that hatch looking on the hallway is going to be closed still. That's really big.
One hatch play. They're going to place down that shield a little bit further forward, but Kai is going to go boom. Perfectly placed C4. Now all of a sudden with 30 seconds left to go, K-State, they are up 2 players. Diffuser, they're going to try it. They're going to get it. Fans just barely will pay for it with their life. Double kill from Zenzo. And already looking really good from this defensive setup. The Wildcats setting a 5v1 here. Mushy Caterpillar, not a single kill in this map, will get there first via a headshot on Sneaky. But it is already the push. The smoke on down. The pistol's good for a second, but that's all they will get. Triple kill from Zenzo. K-State with another good defensive round.
Yeah, I mean, that's back-to-back rounds. Or not back-to-back, but that's 2 times now on this exact same bomb site that Houston's been able to get the bomb down, but then it's just a really good post plant, almost perfectly being played by Kansas. I mean, especially in that position, that is a really hard, if not one of the hardest post plants to play as a defending team in the entire competitive map pool. So the fact that Kansas is able to pull it off very convincingly 2 times in one map, I mean, props. Shout out to them. This Kansas defense, here to start off and bake, it is
Attackers need to
looking
locate and
scary. It
defuse
is
as many
definitely
bombs as they
scary
can.
hours here for Houston.
Already up to 3. Houston, their success in maps coming all the way back in map number 1. Even though map 2 was close, they just weren't able to close it out. And now they are in a -2 deficit. They really need to find a way to go back-to-back rounds. I mean, if they can find a way to especially use this RAM Kaya's going to not go shielded this time. They want an attack from the top, go above to below, be able to break through some of these floorboards. And if they can find those dicing angles, I mean, especially you look at somebody like Vans, who again, 24 kills in map number 1, a single kill here in map number 3.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Again, bringing out a lot of these DMRs. Simple bringing out the DMR on Thatcher. I think Thatcher, especially with his update, not only adding the additional new DMR, but his capabilities to just kind of clear a lot of space. A lot of those traps, like the Maluzis, the throwing gadgets, clear his space, let his team do the rest of the work, and then he can lay covering fire with that DMR. I mean, I think Thatcher, not only just is his ability just a lot more useful, he's a lot more versatile. I mean, that's why you're seeing him in a lot more lineups, even all the way from Collegiate, all the way up to Tier 1. He is honestly a mainstay, and it's been years, almost nearly half a decade since that's been the case.
And that upgrade was really awesome. Waiting to see, going from just a guy with a hammer, that's his whole thing, to being able to do what he does now. For Houston, they've got the guy with the hammer. Also got that ram. And so much utility to work around, even with the thermite. They've got the Blackbeard, though, and that's what is going to control this round. If Kansas State can get one of those early takedowns, and especially now that they're running Thorn, something that they haven't really set upon throughout this entirety of the defensive phase, that could really throw a wrench in what Houston wants to do.
Playing alone. You know, just trying to be as independent as possible. He gets shot by Doug. The hatch above him gets open, but somehow, some way, Zen's able to get out of there. I mean, that is a miracle. 2 different opportunities there for Houston. They miss all 2, and you still have Poe inside of Archives. Not necessarily sure they're aware that he's here. No, they're not. That's Doug off the board. There isn't a C4 in his pocket. Be a little bit difficulty playing around this last player, but I mean, that's your Blackbeard off the board.
Dimmadome, the owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, no longer able to fight in this round. Kansas State continuing to put themselves in player-up scenarios. Nice shot there from Kai. It's a body shot, but it lands on Poe, and it's evened out to a 4v4.
All silent on the western front. Obo just holding it down. Kai with a nice shot on to Sneaky. That's a really big pick. 3 seconds on the board. Obo trying to do work as they try to get the bomb down. But it's Zen from down below. The flank is successful.
Nice background shots there. Diffuser already going down, and Meow has to do it all themselves. Jumping up from the office cubicle. And it's no good. Mushy Caterpillar, all but that. Solid in the final round. As a really good retake of space and finalization of 1v1s works out in Houston's favor.
One round. It's all that Houston needs to tie it up at 3-3. And honestly, especially as soon as we get that 1 3-point, I mean, yeah, I think the entirety of these maps, this entire series, kind of has like flipped. I mean, it just takes one round, one opportunity, one 1v1 to completely change the entire theory. I mean, going into that round, we were looking at like, oh, there's probably going to be a 4-1 split to start things off, or the lead into the second half for Kansas. But now Houston has an opportunity to tie it onto a bomb site that they've won once and lost another time. So it's a very good opportunity, and honestly, again, I'm very curious on why Kansas continuously takes themselves to this top floor. Maybe they're just a really good team on this top floor bomb site, but I mean, I've talked to a lot of smart players, even at the collegiate player. I've talked to Plex, who plays for Akron, the best collegiate team in the entirety of Rainbow Six Siege, and he said that, I mean, this is just a headache. It's probably one of the worst bomb sites to play.
It's tough. But it's also interesting where maybe if everybody else hates it, you can find different ways to attack it, different ways to approach it. And it's a good point about Akron. It'll be exciting to see where they go throughout this season. Brand new spring for them as they look dominant all across the board through Year 2 and even here through Collegiate. So Kansas State, a little bit of introspect here in round number 6 before we swap sides for possibly the final time today. They've got a lot of really good information, especially with Valk and that Warden being able to just control where they want to. For Houston, they've got a lot in front of them, but they're bringing out the Flores this round.
Yeah, I like that addition of the Flores. The problem that they've had on this top floor bomb site is just clearing these positions. Like, for example, the Warden right outside of stock with that shield. I mean, they wasted so much time, put themselves into a 1v3 just trying to clear that one player. Especially removing that mute jammer is going to make it a lot easier to move that Flores drone over there. Just make it a lot easier to clear a lot of the space, open up more lines of sight that Houston previously wouldn't really have the opportunity to use.
Those lines of sights are important because it gives guys like Simple a chance to get the job done. Simple and Vans only a combined 5 kills through 5 rounds. There's one more waiting. Didn't expect Bobo on the repeat, and that quick fire bullets gets him dead via a headshot.
Nice line of sight. They also have that belt, and that's a nice little spot. They know exactly that he's coming up here. You have to play this correctly. Poe backs up his teammate. Caterpillar with another. It's still evened out in a 3v3. Van's able to find another one on the Bobo. Oh, what? He has the thing. He knows the player's there. He's able to get one. He has to jiggle between the window and the top of Spiral. Here comes Sneaky, trying to do his work.
Oh boy. Gotta be kidding me. A triple kill from Poe. We're into just a straight up 1v1. Longer range rifle versus that marksman rifle. Good shots, good setup, but Vans has got the headshot. A straight up 1v1. And a man named after a car gets it done. We're all tied up 3-3 at half.
I mean, my prediction of like 50-50 could not have been better going into this. I absolutely love this. I mean, this is probably one of the most even-sided collegiate matches I have casted in a hot minute. It's been a while since I've been to a map 3, and it feels nice. I've missed this. Looking at the bans now, both teams get the opportunity to ban back-to-back operators. Very curious on their idea. Mira being banned, very good operator for Bank specifically. Ace also a long-distance hard breach operator, and not like a thermite where you have to be right on him. You can be swinging, you can be dangling and throwing, and yet another one onto Habana and Cade. And that's one of the reasons why I think this matchup has been really close, is not only are both teams skill-wise very evenly matched, their game knowledge, their understanding of these maps, how to play into them, how to play into the meta correctly is on par. I mean, it is fantastic.
Attackers need to locate.
It's not only the pulse on the meta, but also the pulse on the series. I mean, regular-ish bans, but also, again, for Houston, trying to deny some of that speed that Kansas State has showed. Kansas State, same thing. Just trying to deny some of those Mira extra angles at Houston, allowing them to activate on some of those solo peaks that the Black Mirrors allow you to do. But let's be real. I mean, this is the decider. This is the last half of regulation. We'll see if we need some overtime as an extra addition to get our blood pumping even more. But Houston, they're going to be under a real microscope here, especially in round 7.
5 seconds
Yeah,
left.
again, I mean, it is 12:30 now. Not only is the pressure getting to your head, sleep's getting to your head too. And a lot of these players after this match, I mean, they're just going to turn their computers off, go right to bed. Turn around, their bed's there. And I think it's kind of a thing where, we're at a point where it's just who wants it more. Who wants to go out of their way to make the plays needed. Not necessarily saying either team is necessarily lazy. I think both teams are putting as much effort that they possibly can into it. I think it's that, you know, the mind. Who's still the way? Who can still spot those small details that can turn the tide of the round? And so far, it has been Kansas, but I think Houston, they're more capable in that fragment, which, to be fair, in the defense, can aid them.
And that's going to be important. I mean, you talk about just the fundamentals. Watching an angle for a minute and a half when you're already tired can make just the difference of who is more, like you said, locked in, who wants it more, and Simple's going to go for a 1-1 trade. They take each other out. Headshots to either way. Kansas State, especially losing that Deimos, that's going to start them down a notch. Simple, I'd say not as bad as a loss, but, you know, it's still a 4v4 at the end of the day.
I mean, yeah, you lose your Tuber, a lot of time and anti-breach denial there gone, but you lose the Deimos. That's going to be a lot of utility gone, especially in a Bobo, a player who's made a lot of crucial plays, especially in that late round. Where you're going to miss, getting the open wall, going for a square over, still playing these windows. If you're Houston, you got to be very careful. Kai, though, in a really nice rat spot here. If he goes undroned, if he goes unnoticed, he can make a big play. Speaking of big plays, Doug tries to go one, but Meow, he's there, he's waiting, he's ready. He gets that kill, he gets that 4v3.
That's so big. Down the castle here. Good shots back from Kai. Thermite's dead. So is Vans. It is just a kill fest here. Kansas State reduced to 3. Well, they've got the +1, and Kai's going to be taken down the long angle. Sneaky, I don't know how they get the positions they do. Mushy, nice shot. That one goes almost through the smoke off a headshot. 2v1. Mushy. Another smoke out will jump the window. Look for the angle. Diffuser is back and regained. Kansas State with full control here will activate the diffuser, and Mushy, we'll see if they just let them do it. That'll be the answer. Now they're both up and active. Position is already known, and it just feels like a relentless weed growing out of control. C4 is gonna miss, and the shots are good from the pistol. Meow does him in on a headshot.
Huge round there from Meow, all the way from getting the kill on the rappel to that castle trying to make a late round play to getting the final kill. Kansas just locking it down. I mean, having those angles on the windows just completely cutting out any player. Really good effort there from Kai, that little rat spot. And then, again, it's just those players in the rappel immediately punishing them. Really good start there for Kansas. And Houston, again, I mean, I think that's a perfect display of why that bomb site, if played by the attack correctly, is a headache for the defense. Houston can be going back down to that basement. They don't have that Mira to play. Not going to be swapping onto the Echo either. But still got the Tuber out to deny the hatches. He's got that Kate off the board. I like that. That's a really good read there. Again, there's no operator that doesn't fit. That doesn't have a place.
And right now, place for Kansas State. They're up 1. They've got to continue to build off their aggression, and especially, like you said, make the map feel small for Houston. Find those different crossfires, especially as you get down to these lower sites. Work from top to bottom. Sneaky has been very good at getting into fragging positions. They may need that again. Action phase activated here. Kansas State, map 2 victors, putting themselves in this scenario to try and pull off the reverse sweep.
Yeah, that would be huge. I mean, Houston, if you win the first map, max OT, and then you go on to lose it, that's something you're going to be heading home. You're going to be holding your head down. This is the first match for this semester for both teams, keep in mind. I mean, what a way to start your season. What a way to start your semester. Collegiate Siege. Poe taking a lot of space. Really liked Poe's position, especially on these last 2 maps. He's been a very impactful player, not only in that fragging department. A lot of his kills have been in high impact, high octane positions, but he's also been able to use his utility very well. Bringing the cap town around to help host that Monty of Meow to try and get that diffuser to go down. A lot of work does this top floor bomb site just completely been vacated. Houston giving a lot of respect to this Kansas attack.
Wildcats just trying to find a bit of an entry here. They've got that hard breach that can get them in, and Sneaky has found the opener. I mean, Vans relegated to the death realm again. 4 and 6 here in this 3rd map. Performance you'd want, but right now you're still only down 1 for Houston. You've got the players as well to sort of play a wraparound defense. Zenzo is going to be really huge here on whether or not they can find a kill through Hatch. And while they're watching over Hatch, the rest of the team is going to exhort through the rest of the map.
Yeah, getting the smoke so early on is huge. You could already see a player creeping up those marble stairs from Houston. You have to make a play, but a majority of the attack is going to be over by the server's position. Smoke canister is not going to be able to be used, so this Goyo canister is going to be the main reliance of utility for this defense in this last phase of the round. You also got this Nomad, or not Nomad, but Thatcher rather. Really wait and worse this utility.
Interesting, the positioning. Just kind of all suffocated together, and that information gained by Sneaky. Wait for the fire to expire. Still 30 and some change seconds to go. Long angle here from Mushy. They've got to play together more than anything, and I doesn't want to get caught in that reload. The DMR shots won't go. C4 should. There you go. Simple gets his one. 4v4 here. A little bit of a laydown. 20 seconds now. Good destruction on the head level shots. With a flash out as well. Kai, take it down half. Now knocked. Kansas State, once again, the aggression is good. The diffuser is on the plan. Another flash will go. They're going to try and get the deny, but sending members in, unideal, as Doug is dead, and Bobo is going insane. A double kill with the diffuser already down, and it's just Simple who burns down to the rest of it. Bobo is a murderer.
A quad there for Bobo, 4 unanswered kills. I mean, man, everybody on Kansas is showing up. I was giving some talk to Bobo. I talked about how Poe's really been showing up. Sneaky's had a lot of great rounds. I mean, even Meow. I mean, there's really not a player where I can, really give criticism or say they've made a lot of mistakes that could be helping more. I mean, honestly, really big props here to Kansas, and they've really taken this attack tenfold. Houston struggling. Top floor didn't work out for you whatsoever. You had no way into that round. It was constantly Kansas in the control. Second round, you go to basement. Also, relatively the same story. I mean, losing that opening pick, you weren't able to go for that retake. Never had control. Popo going big. Now you go back down to the same bomb site. The one change they do make is they switch that Warden.
10 seconds left.
They bring Kai on the Maestro. I think that's great, but with a Thatcher still on
5
board,
seconds left.
Brava also, I don't think it's going to be enough. You're going to have something. You're going to have to
Attackers
play
are heading out
aggressive.
to
Get
defuse
into
the
the
bomb.
face of Houston.
I mean, it is, first of all, so many hard bridge charges available for them, but also for Kansas State. I mean, that last round wasn't built off of the early speed. The early slowness was what really set them up. They just played it with a concise nature. Can they repeat it? Kansas State, just 2 rounds away from signing themselves as a map victor, series victor, wrapping things up here in 3 for Houston. What they've got to do is not climb a mountain. It is just a small hill in front of them. Round after round, they need to play off each other. And I like the Maestro because it gives them a little bit more leniency. But players like Doug the Dog that have been losing their opening fights will need to start this one on the stairs.
I mean, this is exactly what I needed from Houston. Gotta try to play as close as possible. A lot of map control here from Kansas, but Simple, he's ready for that one. The Monty right above him on marble stairs. He's gonna try to get out of dodge. Here's Doug tucking himself away inside of elevators. Again, we've seen him in this position time and time again. He just needs to get the timing right. He perfectly does. That's Xenox off the board. No immediate trade. Kansas, they're struggling here in this round.
This is a much different look. I mean, Doug this time able to go an incredible blow, and Bobo. He got the timing. That's the big question. Meow is going to take some Legion damage, and he does have the timing. How heroic is Bobo here in this round? Doug dies first. K-State back up to a -1. And just trying to get that timing right there for Simple, who will back down to the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, 4v3 now here for Houston. Very safe, a comfy position for them to set down. Simple also, he could potentially work his way up marble stairs, go for a little bit of a flank, but you got to worry about those Nomad jabs. Something that Kansas is going to be expecting. Still haven't been able to get those hatches open inside of open area with 40 seconds left. You got to start picking up pace, Kansas. You got to start taking space, because if you just let this clock continue to click down, they've got the guns to hold you off.
30 seconds. Half a minute here. The staircase duel could decide a lot. Simple is going to hit the reload. Meow still could be the leader of the charge. Mushy kind of watching that other side as that hatch is broken open. We're really running out of time here for Kansas State. They're just going to have to jump in. Now just 15 seconds to go. Bobo, double-digit kills. How many can they bring to this post setup? Sneaky, going in. Shots are good from Kai. Damage is better. Simple gets the headshot. Meow gets one. But again, the timing is so bad. Simple's triple kill should be just enough. And it's a time round win. Really well done on the closeout. Great adaptations to slow them down. And never let Kansas State get their MVPs on a kill streak.
I mean, that's exactly what you needed for Houston. You needed one round. Now you get to ban that third operator. You get to, change things up. I do think Bank is a very operator-heavy map compared to others. I think there's, potentially something you can pick off to change up the momentum. Monty, perfect choice. Warden, something that wasn't consistently played by Houston, but is definitely a very powerful operator, very powerful ability to just hold a lot of space, especially with those smokes. Just completely useless against his warding glasses. So again, I think it works both perfectly. Again, very even-sided for both teams.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
No open
Good
area.
choices. And Goose, this is a really good series. I mean, we're getting to the
location of a
late
bomb.
portions of it too, where another overtime could be on the horizon for these two teams right now, though. Again, round by round, I think momentum has started to build a little bit more for Houston. Kansas State relying on some of those clutch performances, but they are the ones closer to that series victory. Just 2 more rounds is all it takes for Kansas State. And for Houston, they've had a lot of really good moments, and now that they've banned away that third operator, I feel like it gives them so much more versatility to not have to deal with that Monty.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, and I talked about how maybe I wanted to see a Deimos to add a little bit more flexibility, add more info to Kansas. Exactly what Bobo's gonna be bringing out. I think that's also the perfect player. He's a fragger that's not scared to get aggressive when he needs to, even when he doesn't have the info or the support from his teammates. He understands when they don't have a lot of control, they don't have a foot in the round, that he needs to get active, and he's going to be giving himself a little bit more info, a little bit more of a cushion with those Deimos trackers. I mean, I think they're fantastic. You also got the Grim. You can really see the focus from Kansas to get as much information as possible, and as individually as possible.
You get them individually. Start to activate the rest of the team. Age-old question. How many pillows do you sleep on? How much cushion do you need? Kansas State got a little bit of cushion here, especially on the window lurks. But for Houston, again, so much coverage across the flag, across those long hallways. Nice shot. Great opener. And surely you deny that res. Watching from the crossfire here. Great damage. Simple's the first. And we'll get fully finished off with the crossbow.
That's exactly what you need to do to start off the round, but you're going to waste one of those fire bolts. Definitely not ideal, but you get a kill with it, so it's not completely wasted. This could put a lot of pressure onto the defense of Houston. They shift a lot of their positions around, still need to get this wall open. Zen's going to do that perfectly, being paired with Meow. I just need to clear that stock and janitor's position. With a minute 18 to work with, a kill yet again, deep from Bobo. It's all working out in their favor. They actually even have control of stock. Oh, this is a really good position.
Oh, it might just be the GOAT. Another headshot add onto the body pile. 11 kills. Leads the lobby right now. And +2. Kai's going to take some chip damage too. And we talked about this pincer. That is lovely. Vans is going to have to do a lot of work from their position to try and fire low. The stock room won't get too much, and through the smoke won't get much either. The fuse is already being planted, and Houston is going to have to retake this.
Vans with one on to Bobo. That's a really big play here for him. Flank up from Caterpillar. Misses a couple of those shots. Sneaky gets one on to him. As soon as you get onto the rappel, it's all done and dumps Popo. It's Kai alone. He's able to get one onto Meow, but it's simply going to be a takeaway kill. Takeout for him. That's all he's going to get. No leftovers. Now it's Kansas on match in series point.
1 round. That is all it takes. And the Wildcats will be victorious. And again, after all of that work, after Houston brought it all the way to that overtime max distance round 15, and map number 1 got their victory, slow to start in map number 2. This is where you've got to make your stand. And they're going to do it with a lot of chip damage. They're going to bring both the
Attackers need to
Thorn,
locate and
got the
defuse as many
Legion,
bombs as
they've
they
got
can.
chances to really burn the health bars down before they take those isolated fights, or dissuade Kansas State from taking those isolated fights if they are injured. They've also got that Azami, and there are a lot of really creative barriers that you can put up that can change the whole fortification of this defensive side.
I mean, it's just, I think Houston, this is a really big gamble. You've lost 2 rounds up here. I mean, that last round, you
10
had
seconds
no
to
footing.
insertion.
And it's not even like Kansas, changed it up. They switched it up
5
on
seconds to
Houston there. I
insertion.
mean, they did the exact same play. Obviously, they had a better opportunity. They didn't have anybody up
Attackers are
Marble
moving
Stairs.
out
They
to
just
locate
decided
a
to do it
bomb and
inside of
defuse it.
stock. Not a whole lot of contention there, Houston. I think the main problem on this defense is they're giving up too much control. They're giving too much respect to the attack. More importantly, that's something that Kansas reads, and they're taking advantage of it. They're using that to get even more aggressive.
Like that they have that aggression. This is a really good show at the start of the season, man. They're not just playing basic milquetoast. They're playing for their confidence pieces. They're playing to boost the confidence of their own while getting those early frags, especially in such an open map on that second level. They've been able to exploit it many of a times before. Kansas State is on the doorstep once again.
They have the drone on Doug. A live info on Doug. Not trying to play too active on him right now. Just trying to wait until he makes the wrong decision, the wrong move. Sneaky rotates over to try to find him. Will bait shots. This is a gunfight that Doug's gonna want to take. Oh no. Oh no! He wins that? What? No, okay. Bobo. He is able to recollect there. If he was going to lose that one, I was about to get upsetty spaghetti, but who else but Bobo? Probably the most consistent player in the lobby so far. The #1 individual player you can count on to go huge, and yet again, that's exactly what he does.
It's just a 4v4. Or all. Takes the goop out of his leg. And Kansas State back in control here. But with a ton of control. You let them get just 1 kill. It opens up even more. And as Houston tries to dwindle down the time, a big old thermite charge will delay. Hitting up top here. Trying to catch him off guard. Won't do anything at the moment. 60 seconds to go. Kansas State greatly set up.
Ooh. Just mistimed that impact. Still's able to play behind the C4, or not the C4, the nade rather. Doesn't fully push him out. I don't know if Kansas fully understands that he's here. A really good hold here from Kansas. Just 45 seconds left on the clock.
Houston's got to pull the trigger eventually on some of these outlook crevices. For Kansas State, the health bars are already inching down to nothing. Oh, got a good angle, but dies on it. Simple finds that kill. Now they're up +1. 20 seconds to go here. Diffuser is still there, and they're going to smoke down to try and get it. They're all coming from that left side. Dealing with it. Long range, good shots from fans. The headshot is good enough. A +2 again for Houston. They've got the player control. Kill back onto Simple. And the shotgun deals the final blow. It's full-length regulation.
Kansas, or Houston rather, very similar to Consulate. You're down a couple of rounds. You work your way up to 5-6. You have an opportunity to send it into overtime. Will they be able to finally finish that deed, give themselves an opportunity to win? Or are they going to fall again? I talked about it. I was like, dude, go to top, go to console. I don't like that from Houston. But what I did like they did, what I like they
Attackers need
changed
to
up was
locate
just
and
spam
defuse
those
the
Akiba
bomb.
barriers all over the bomb site, which allowed them not only play and hold those angles safely, but also move around the bomb site without having to worry about walking into a crossfire. And also, to be fair, Kansas didn't play into those windows, didn't play into those crossfires as much. So it did allow for the players, especially like Kai, to make his way up all the way to desk, play really close to that breach. You can see when Thermite tried to swing onto the Azami, he was not expecting Kai to be that close up. And it's those small micro changes that Houston need to make
10
to
seconds
try to
to
get a
go.
one-up on Kansas.
That one up is
5 seconds.
now
to
more
insertion.
important than ever. Nightmares of that second map now arise for
Objective is
Houston,
to
where
locate
they
a
made it
bomb
all
and
the
defuse
way
it.
the full length. Just were not able to get the job done. This time, though, they've got the defensive side. They've got Kai back on the Maestro. They've got that Goyo to try and deal some early damage or late round flammables. And then Doug on the Legion has really been causing issues on some of that early round damage. It is going to be all down now to Kansas State and see what their attack looks like.
Looks like they're actually going for a really quick take onto this site, just trying to work around the entire extension. But Houston, they've read into this. They're fully rotating back down to the bomb site. I don't want to say it's necessarily too late, but you've lost that surprise factor. Setting up the crossfire, you don't have control of the hatch. You still have a player from Houston playing it. You got the Maestro cam looking at you. This is a position that's going to be really difficult for Kansas to move around.
Actually, with so much of that early damaging, really allowing them in. They still want to commit to this. It looks like they've got Meow down here. They'll be playing behind the shield. That being said, Bobo and the rest of the crew just trying to do a lot. Trying to get through that covered early damage. And Kansas State doing everything right. The problem is they've lost that surprise factor, as you said. The fire's going to go down and delay them even further.
Problem here is you don't have any explosive utility, so you can't get rid of that Maestro cam. You can't go up and hit it because you're just going to expose yourself to the defensive lines. I mean, you can't get rid of this. This is perfectly placed utility. Almost a perfect play by Doug. He misses the hit, though. It's an opportunity, but an opportunity that Zen's going to take away from him.
Doug now gone. Even with all that early setup, Kansas State into an okay spot. Oh, that Maestro cam. How much damage is it going to get throughout this round? And, well, Vans is on a low angle as well. So this is a great, actually, setup from Houston. Even though they're down a player, they still have so much space to work with.
And now they're just taking the top floor. There's an Aruni gate on the door. Oh, my God. The Goyo canister's wasting the time because they're on top of the hatch. This is a perfect use of utility. Kai finally getting the kill from the Maestro cam. Another one from Simple. It's all falling apart.
There's no space. No looks. 30 seconds left to go. And a nice double kill from Zenzo. Maybe could be the hero. 3-all. Hard breach coming in. It's now or it's never. Overtime or nothing. Kansas State playing with just minimal time left to go. Finally, the fire crossbow ready to go. They're sending in. They've got the shield. They've got the firebolt. And they've got the entry in. It's a nice setup from Poe. Do they have enough to get the diffuser down? It does look like it. They've got to protect him. Finally, the shots go in. And no! They kill the diffuser. And we're going to overtime once again.
I think that was a good time. It didn't fully come true, but after the first map, I was like, hey, I DM'd Rennie, our observer, for people who aren't familiar. I was like, I have a feeling this is going to go 3 maps, all max OT. Got max OT first one, didn't get overtime, but we got overtime on our 3rd map, so I wasn't far off on predicting that. But wow, what a good defensive setup there. I mean, in all honesty, I cast quite a bit of tier 2. I've casted, I think, tier 1 team once or twice. That is one of the best rounds of utility I've seen on basement in my entire career casting. So I have to give props. Glaze aside, so far Houston has been so smart with their utility, and it makes me proud as a commentator.
And it's so good on the time delay, too. I mean, everything working perfectly. You talk about the Goyo canister to deny the hatch, the timing, the takedown on the diffuser as well. But now everything is tossed aside. The 3 maps that have passed, it all comes down to this overtime. The first to win 2 rounds will be the victor of the series. There's no more extensions after that. And Houston, possibly one of the bigger advantages, is they get to kind of start on this defensive side that has been so successful for them.
I'm going for the exact same bomb site too. Houston has so much I mean, they've got so much capability. This entire series is now in their hand. And again, we're on overtime. Houston, 2 out of 3 rounds, they get to be on defense, but it doesn't necessarily matter. 3-3.5 for both teams on both sides. Very even-ended, but I think especially in these last couple of rounds, it has completely been in Houston. Not even a sense where they've just been getting the better of Kansas. They just have the better read. They have almost solved, and Kansas not really being able to adapt this utility-heavy defense from Houston.
Now's the time to adapt. But you don't want to overcorrect. If you're Kansas State, I don't think they did that, at least with the operator selection. But it can be something where you overthink things. Again, we talked about the late at night. Good shots from Doug. Good trade from Sneaky. So Sneaky will get the worst of that damaging. But nobody's dead, and that's what's important.
Oh, here comes Boba on the cross. Gonna potentially cut off Doug. They could completely shut him down here. Doesn't matter though, because just runs into the gun of Bobo. Simple trying to make his way up blue stairs to try to get a pick back with that nomad above the door. There is no way he's gonna be able to do it. So he's just gonna fall back. He's gonna understand that. Probably better if I save my life. If I go back down the rest of my team in the bomb site. 1:20, and again, still a lot to work with. The Goyo canisters on the bomb site. Smoke canister inside of Vans, and yet again, Kai on the Maestro.
So much utility, and it feels like Kansas State hasn't been able to find their angle. Hasn't been able to fight their way down low here. And hasn't broken enough of the top hatches. There we go. Finally break into the main setup. Try and get their way in. And when you talk about it here for Kansas State as well, their success, even though 3v3 on both sides on the offense and defense, a lot of it did come from their fast hits.
You also have the nades in the pocket from Meow, but they've been completely used, so there's no more explosive utility to get rid of these Maestro cams. That's going to be a little bit of a problem.
Chip damage is often a lot. You distract your vision. It's a 5v4, make that a 4v4, and a good kill from Bobo. Good little double kill. Takedown. Guy, nice on the camera. Didn't realize he was behind him. Guy gets the flickarooski. And all of a sudden, Houston's in a 3v3. What makes it even tougher for Kansas is she was on a good angle, now is not. Damage good. Kai, the only one left to go. Health bar is abysmal, but 10 seconds on it. And Post got it cleared. Off an inconsistent round, Kansas State finds the overtime first. And incredible multi-kills. Poe going nuclear.
Yeah, Houston doing pretty much textbook the exact same setup they did in round 11, or round 12 rather, of regulation. But what changed was 2 things from Kansas. One, I talked about the nades in the pocket of Blackbeard. Used those to get rid of the 2 of the Maestro cams. Sure, he still had 1 left, but one's better than 3. On top of it, instead of going for a quick hit and just slamming their head against the wall, trying to get that plant down inside of security, they rather chose to just do a full clear of the map. And that's the one thing that Houston was hoping they wouldn't do. Because if they did that full clear, if they got the hatches open, if they did all the dirty work, they got all their checklists off, then, I mean, that's the round over. There's nothing really else to work for Houston. Because of that, taking their time out. Now on their attack again, it's 50-50 and 3-3.5 for both sides. So it's not necessarily like this is not a favored round for Houston, but I talked about they had the read, but Kansas understood they're going to play a little bit too solid, too stable, and understanding they're just doing the same things over and over.
And I like that recognition. The repetition here this late, especially in a series. Houston has had some great moments. They were able to win that first overtime. It went the max distance. And they have to win this attacking side to give themselves even a chance if they want to win. They can't even win the series here, but they sure can lose it. Kansas State would love that. They're going to set themselves up pretty much similar. They've got the Maestro, they've got the cams, they've got everything they would want to take this right here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really love Bank because in the first half on defense, a lot of teams will just, let's go upstairs. Let's go top floor. Let's go open area. But once you get to overtime, no one wants to take a risk. No one wants to try to get a little dodgy. They all just go basement over and over and over and over. They take the safe option. And to be fair, I mean, as Kansas, you only get one opportunity to defend. So you might as well take your best opportunity. So So if we win here, we go base it for the last round. But for this round specifically, I really like the lineup. Using that timeout to specifically call for this round. Obviously, maybe talking about a couple of things for the last round, but their main focus is just getting 7-7. Winning this one attacking round that they need. We got the Osa try to get that plant down safely. Can openers in the pocket of Doug in case Caterpillar either dies early on or just allows them to open more walls. Can open both hatches and then use that thermite to focus specifically on the walls on the bomb site. You can see a very heavy roam here. Boo-boo. Bobo. Upstairs 14-10. He's been the star player for Kansas. He's been the standout. Obviously, Poe and Sneaky, they've been right behind him, 12-6, 12-9, but all the kills that Bobo's gotten have been in very late round, very impactful positions. Round winning.
That's what it feels like. There's such an MVP performance already. But who is going to steal that single round MVP? Sneaky, especially you go back to said defensive side of Kansas State. I mean, it felt like Sneaky was always getting himself in the best position, always finding a couple of kills, especially through the stairways. Destroyal of the drone, that's going to give away a little bit of information, but also take one drone away. So why not trade it up?
Yeah, really good effort here in Kansas State to just shoot a couple of those drones. Fall back down to the bomb site, remove a lot of that info. I mean, you don't need. I mean, we've seen this round in last 3 rounds or so. Of just, you open these walls, you waste the utility, you hold the line of sight, you try to get that bomb down. We know exactly what's gonna happen here. And a relatively similar lineup, but it's actually the tuber out coming out from Kansas. That's something that could really work well. It slows down. You can't really fall away. Bobo trying to go for that walk up marble stairs and simple. He's ready for him.
Without Bobo, things become just an extra layer complicated. User down from the shield here. Trying to get the early damage. Kai is just going to die to this one, and here you go. Off the gas.
Tuber out. Oh, he placed the tuber out so he couldn't walk out fast enough, and the gas kills him. That's a really huge play. It wastes time. 20 seconds left. Simple going huge above.
Multi-kills, and Mushy once again pushed off. It's down to 15 seconds. How many times will they try and get the diffuser in? It's on the ground. It's right there, but there goes another. It's a takedown from the fire. Sneaky gets one. It's back into a 3v3, but realistically, they've got to go fast, and they've got to go now. 5 seconds. One more attempt at the diffuser. A kill from Simple. Traded up by Sneaky, and it's a quadra kill from Simple. But guess who's down? And Simple is back with the pentakill.
Oh my God, this map. I mean, the play. I mean, this is a match I'll go back, I'll watch, I'll VOD review. I'll look at this. I'll see exactly how. I'll ask Rennie for the file because, I mean, there was just so many small things in that round. I mean, having the double hard breach to make sure you get everything open. You have the hatches, you have the walls. It's all checked out. You have the OSA, so you can't get shot. And then you have the Thatcher, so you can get rid of the thermites, or not the thermites, the C4s. I think it disables the smoke babes because it disables anything that has a trigger. So like if you have to throw it then pull a trigger, same thing with the C4, it completely deactivates it. But then they threw a smoke from Kansas, doubling up with a tuber out. I talked about when you're hit by a tuber out canister, you're really slow because you're essentially frozen, and it slowed him down just enough for that smoke canister to kill him. Perfect use of utility by both teams. And then my read is correct that for our last round, who would have guessed it? We're going to be going down to basement.
Lobbed that canister 700 miles to land it in Houston's court.
10 seconds left.
And now this
before
is it.
insertion.
One single round to decide the entirety of the series. And I don't think it should be decided any
Attackers
other
must
way.
locate and defuse the bomb.
Whose life will be null? Whose time spent will be for nothing? It is time to decide that, and for Kansas State, once again, the Flores play, trying to go a little bit aggressive with that Blackbeard.
I mean, the exact same lineup. You could see Houston adopting that tuber out. I mean, the exact as soon as they died to it, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is tech. We need to use this." Bringing that out. Also bringing out the striker to give them a little bit more flexibility with that utility, both can openers and nades in the pocket of Sneaky. You want huge last round. You go huge. It is, or actually it was simple last round. I also like instead of bringing the Monty, because they don't have that off board, you're not going to be bringing the Blitz or the Osa, switching on to that Blackbeard. Shield that can play a lot more aggressive. That's exactly what Kansas needs. They don't need to just waste time, to just continue to waste the utility, try to get that bomb down. They want to try to play aggressive. They want to try to take Houston off guard. Give them something they haven't played against thus far.
Throw them off their line here. Under 2 minutes, nobody's dead. You can sense the cautiousness, but the tension. Pliable. Feel for Kansas State here as they want to get forward. Bobo died early last round, was the first to die. Needs to change that if their team wants to find success here in this round, and a lot of space being given. Already going to use the Flores setups to get the job done. And the work. Takedown on the close range. Sets themselves up down low and tossing that nade out. There goes your Maestro Cam.
Yeah, exactly a problem they had beforehand also, using this Flores to clear that barbed wire directly on the post plant spot. Problem last time was just not bringing enough defensive utility with explosive. 2 nades, 4 total if you count the ones in the pocket of Meow. 50 seconds, it's going to come down to the exact same thing, but it looks like they might send Meow down the hatch to play really aggressive. Oh.
Takedown already on a Simple. He was the man that clutched last time, and Bobo opens it with the pistol. Blood of the Cougars on the ground as Kansas State up 1. The fire is going to delay him. Maestro Cam is there as well. 9 players still alive for the series. 20 seconds left to go. Kansas State looking to engage from the hatch. They've got the Blackbeard, but they've got to wait for the fire to expire. Doug gets one of the headshot. Down to 10 seconds. They've got to make their move, and Houston loses another. It's good kills on Kansas State. The diffuser being planted, and Bobo and Sneaky combined for a double. It's all down to Mushy. Can they clutch up? Can they get all 3? That is what they have to answer to, and the Shield has got their back. Trying to just knife it away. Trying to find something, some semblance that could put them back into a positive position. But all it is a rabbit go. Ring around the rosy with 25 seconds left, dripping off the clock. Mushy Caterpillar, all themselves trying to dagger it away. Won't be able to get the kill, and that's it! The Hall of Champions is filled with the blood of the Cougars. Kansas State wins it in 3.
The reverse sweep. The JV team, you could not have asked for a better start to their semester. And what a fall. 8-7 on the very first map, not able to shut it off. They were able to push it on to overtime with 2 rounds when they were down 4-6, but not able to finish it off. And again, it just came down to who used their utility better, and it was Kansas.
I mean, that opening setup too. Bobo and Sneaky for so long had been relegated to doing nothing. Bobo, the round before, dies first. And then all of a sudden, it's the step-up performance, it's utility, godly usage, and what a series. I mean, absolute cinema for Houston. It's tough to be ashamed of that one because you shouldn't be. Went all 3, gave it your all, and even took that map 1. But I mean, at the end of the day, Kansas State proving why they deserve that 1 and 0.
Yeah, I mean, again, and if all of our games for the rest of this semester are going to be like this, I am excited. I mean, because this was absolutely a treat, especially that last map. It was the cherry on top.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely a super cinema day. And you know what? There's more cinema to come on the rest of the week because we've got esports all throughout it here at NECC. We've got League of Legends tomorrow. We've got Overwatch to finish out the week on Friday. And then make sure you're hitting the follow button, turn on the notifications on both here and our main channel so you can watch for some more of the action as we go on into the next week. Rainbow Six Siege is going to be next week as well. So lots of fun, lots more action as we focus on all of the different divisions. And actually, an update, Counter-Strike is going to be next Wednesday. We're doing that alternating. So Counter-Strike next week, Rainbow Six returning the week after. But before we go, a huge shout out to our producers in the background. Time to Light, Rennie, doing a phenomenal job, Rennie. A big happy birthday to them. And obviously for us, Goose and LIama, that's going to end off the day. We hope to see you here back in 2 weeks. Watch the rest of the stuff for NECC, an absolute banger of a series. Kansas State walks away victors in 3. Thanks so much for watching the NECC, and we'll see you next time.